Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Why is the middle class shrinking? Why are people facing an affordability crisis while marginalized individuals called informals grow in numbers? Join me as I travel the world, speaking with people living in invisibility, the leaders working to solve it, and uncovering the hard truths shaping our economy and daily reality.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform. Sid and Friends in the morning. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
I'm sorry, Sid. Hi.
Oh, God, don't be sorry. You kidding me?
No, I'm wrapped up in these meetings on peace. And I said, it's between peace and Sid Rosenberg. And I said, let's take Rosenberg, okay? So.
Well, New York City has seen a shocking surge in hate crimes, especially those targeting Jewish residents. This is a video of a young Jewish woman being attacked on the subway and having her hair pulled out last weekend. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani has remained silent on the issue, like he has with so many other pro-terrorism anti-Semitic attacks. And rather than showing solidarity with the Jewish community at the Israel Day parade last weekend, he became the first mayor in 62 years to skip it. Instead, his attention was focused on the Knicks. Jewish New Yorkers feel abandoned by leadership because they have been, and it's only getting worse. Everyone deserves to be safe in their own city, yet many American Jews feel more unsafe than ever. Joining me now, right here on set in New York City, is WABC radio host Sid Rosenberg. Also joining us anonymously on the phone is the subway attack victim from that video. Sid, sit tight for 1 second. This woman wants to conceal her identity because she fears for her safety. Thank you both for being here. Ma'am, I'm so sorry this happened to you. This is absolutely horrific. My first question is, did anybody come to your aid when this was happening to you on the subway?
Unfortunately, there was only one man and his partner that came to my aid in a subway car full of people.
So the woman who attacked you, Diana Smith, the woman you're seeing on the video, she apparently has a history of mental illness. She's facing hate crime charges, including assault charges. Are you glad that she's being held accountable? And is that enough to make you safer or feel safe again as you're riding the subway?
I'm of course glad that she's being held accountable, but it definitely is not enough. Also, I don't believe that having a history of mental illness translates and corresponds to Jewish hatred. I don't see the ties.
So is there, in your opinion, a widespread problem in the city with this happening?
Yeah, and you could see it from the comments when the video went viral. The comments, unfortunately, a lot of them have been pro what she is saying and agree with the words that she was saying. And on the subway as well, there were people that agreed with the chant.
What do you think needs to happen to prevent this from happening to others like you?
Honestly, I've been thinking about that for the past 4 days, and I can't say for sure. All I can say is that being there and seeing the footage from the subway itself is I had to see that the police finally released that footage to me, and seeing that no one did anything. I think the bystander effect in New York City is extremely real. I think that we are so used to keeping our head down and waiting till the next stop. And I saw that firsthand. And I think that is the most important thing that has to end if we want anything to change.
Yeah, it's completely unacceptable. I hope that you're recovering and that things do change. Thank you so much for sharing your story tonight.
Thank you.
All right, Sid, your reaction to hearing what she has said and how this can be changed. I mean, this keeps happening. It's getting worse.
It's not going to change. I'm a Jewish New Yorker myself. Now, I can defend myself, and I've actually done that once or twice since October 7th of 2023. But this mayor hates us. I say this all the time. He doesn't even try to hide it. He hates us. His father hates us. His wife hates us. He does nothing about any of these incidents in New York City. In fact, I would go as far as saying, Katie, he encourages this type of behavior. Mm-hmm. He doesn't mind when the pro-Hamas mob is running up and down New York City, terrorizing people. His best buddy, Mahmoud Khalil, terrorizing kids on a Columbia campus. This is a bad person. He's an anti-Semite. He doesn't care. So the truth is, until he's out, if he's out in 3+ years, things are not going to change.
CBS News spoke with White House border czar Tom Homan, who's defending conditions at Newark's Delaney Hall.
So I toured the whole facility. Is it a 5-star resort? No. But is it a well-run detention facility? Yes. I made an unannounced visit there on Saturday. I sat down in a cafeteria with the detainees and ate the same meal they ate. And again, was it a 5-star cuisine? No.
This comment's coming after complaints from detainees inside the facility claiming the food is inedible. Meantime, Newark police arrested 2 people outside Delaney Hall during protests yesterday. A man from Illinois and a woman from Brooklyn are facing multiple charges, including aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer.
A major development in the race for South Carolina governor. President Donald Trump officially announcing he's backing Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evette in the Republican primary. The president has largely stayed out of the race, although several candidates have touted their support for him. Trump's endorsement comes months after Governor Henry McMaster also backed Evette in the race. In a post on social media, the president said, quote, Pam Evette is a good friend, fighter, and winner, and will be a terrific governor of South Carolina. Pam has my complete and total endorsement. She will never let you down. At the end of the president's post, he claimed that he had heard Governor McMaster's son, Henry McMaster Jr., will be Evette's running mate, calling it, quote, a big added plus. We have reached out to Evette's campaign, and they have not confirmed who will be her pick for lieutenant governor. But Evette did take to social media to thank the president for his endorsement. Meanwhile, other candidates in the GOP primary are also responding to that endorsement. Attorney General Alan Wilson saying in part, quote, no one's fought harder or risked more for President Trump and his agenda than I have. I look forward to continuing to deliver real results for South Carolina families as their next governor. Congresswoman Nancy Mace said she has enormous respect for President Trump, and that respect remains unchanged. She went on to say, quote, South Carolina deserves a governor who answers to her people, not to the establishment, and not to anyone who believes accountability is negotiable.
The NBA Finals, where New York will be looking to do what Vegas could not, and that is leave the road up 2-0. They've won 12 straight games. Karl Anthony Towns asked just how important it is not to give the Spurs any hope or my momentum and grabbing the second game, which will be played Friday night on ABC.
I don't think of anything like that, the 1-1-2-0. I just think it's 0-0. And the next game is the most important game of the year. So just continue to stay in the present, not worry about what the future may look like, not worry about what we've done in the past. Just cancel all that out and just worry about the present. Tomorrow we step on that court, should be the same determination, desperation, energy level, and physicality needed for Game 1 win.
Knicks are the 6th team in the last 30 years to win Game 1 of the Finals on the road. That has not been as significant as you might think. 4 of the previous 5 dropped the series. The last team to win the Finals in this scenario, the Pistons of 2004, who upset the Lakers and did so in dominant fashion, winning the series in 5 games. I was doing the 6 o'clock Sports Center at the time. Everybody who was working on that show seemed to think the series was a best of 9. I don't know that we ever acknowledged Detroit winning games then. One of our producers in my ear suggested that he acknowledged that he's from Detroit. As for San Antonio, this is the 4th time this postseason that the Spurs enter a game while trailing in the series. They've won the previous 3 by an average of almost 30 per. Like Friday night's Game 2, all were in San Antonio. Here's Wemby on the adjustments they need to make.
Really, I think the reason we lost that game isn't even technical. It's not even technical, tactical. It's we need to approach the game with a better mental state, and we just need to play our game. We just need to be normal. We don't need to do anything incredible.
I mean, obviously, we feel like we're the better team, and we didn't play well. We still had a chance to win. So, if we take one thing from that, just going back to being ourselves and, focusing on the right things.
How Wembanyama responds to the force of Cat on both ends is the most compelling Game 2 storyline in my estimation. The complete disappearance of Chet Holmgren as an offensive threat for OKC in Game 7 got a lot of attention, but Towns' 18.15 shot night, Game 1 in the Finals, was more than Holmgren scored or attempted in any game in the Western Conference Finals. That, combined with Cat's physical defense, seemed to sap Wembanyama's energy. What type of response comes not just in Game 2, but in the remainder of the series, I think it goes a long way in deciding who wins this thing.
Well, I've been a Knicks fan for a long time, and I'm also a Jim Dolan fan. He's a nice guy, okay? He's been a long time wanting to win, and he's a competitive guy, and he's got a team that's amazing. I don't think they've lost a playoff game.
12 straight wins.
Can you imagine that? And it was not looking good. I saw the beginning of the game, and it wasn't looking good. I missed the middle because I talked to generals all night long now. But I watched that end of the game, and they were dominant. Really amazing. And Wemby's a great player. He's going to be a great player, and he is already a great player. I say, how do you guard this guy? 7'5", and he's got a great shot, right? But they find a way to do it. They're really great. They're a great team. And I'm happy for Jim, because Jim has really been fighting hard to, produce such a team. So you never know. The answer is yes, he's invited me. I'm going.
Aaron Judge, he gone, as Hawk Harrelson would say. It is a fractured rib, and that could take at least 6 weeks, and it hurts. It hurts just to swing because, the way you turn your body, you'll see Judge, even when he gets back, probably wins once or twice. So, look, the Yankees have not been playing particularly well. And even dating back to early in the season, when I became this monster Yankee fan, and I still love Randy Levine. I miss you, Randy. Yankees have a big series in the Bronx this weekend against Joseph Abboud's Boston Red Sox. But even when their record was really good, I kept saying they can't beat good teams. You may remember the first 3 series of the year against teams with better than 500 records. That included, at the time, Tampa Bay, Oakland, and Milwaukee. The Yanks were 1-7, and that has continued. The Yankees, they're still playing better than 500 baseball, obviously, and they're right there with Tampa Bay, but they don't beat good teams. And now you lose Aaron Judge for at least 6 weeks, and that is some very bad news for the Yanks. But, of course, the Yankees are not the main story in this city. It is a New York Knicks Game 2 coming up later on tonight. So last night, if you listened to the whole Open, you heard the very beginning of the Open. There's a story about a 27-year-old Jewish girl who's on the subway, and some maniacal black lady, and I point out she's black because the news is so descriptive these days, especially when it's a white guy, that why not tell the whole truth? So some maniac black lady goes after this Jewish girl and starts yelling that, this one you can't even make up, she's so stupid and hateful, that Jews eat children. Yeah, she believes it. And you go online and you'd be shocked as to how many people agree. We are living in a very hateful, anti-Semitic, sick society. So this animal starts yelling and screaming that Jews eat children, and then she starts ripping clumps of hair off of this 27-year-old girl. Now, this is on a very, very crowded subway train. But no one did anything. And I'll tell you why. Alvin Bragg, you piece of garbage. Why? I'll tell you why. Because you may remember when a drugged up, another maniac, Jordan Neely, not a nice kid. He loved his Michael Jackson. No, he was a homicidal maniac. He's on a subway. He's threatening to kill everybody, literally threatening to kill everybody. Some brave Marine by the name of Daniel Penny decides, not on this train, not on this day. And Penny gets up, and along with the help of some other passengers as well, throws this guy to the ground, restrains Jordan Neely, who again was all drugged up like George Floyd, and he dies. Okay, he dies. So what happens? Alvin Bragg brings a grand jury, and Daniel Penny gets indicted, and his life basically got ruined. Lost his job, was the subject of all kinds of threats. Now, in the end, thank God Daniel Penny had an amazing attorney in my dear friend Thomas Kniff. I'm always mentioning Joe Tacopina, Arthur Aidala, Alan Dershowitz, Danielle Rosenberg, Tom Kniff right there at the very top as well. And eventually he got Daniel Penny off. But don't kid yourself. A lot of New Yorkers now, not me, because I have come to the aid of a rabbi on a downtown Ford train on Shabbos, but a lot of New Yorkers now, they're going to think twice. Why would I help anybody on that train when I'm going to become the criminal? Not the black lady who's out of control, me. So when you start to figure out why nobody on that train, besides the fact that most people are pussies, let's be honest, okay? That's a fact. Most people are pussies. They don't want any issues. I didn't see anything. I didn't hear anything. But even if somebody really did consider it, don't think they've got Daniel Penny and Alvin Bragg in the back of their minds. So I guess they got this lady. So I took it a step further because I saw my friend Shabbos Kestenbaum's tweet yesterday, and I reached out to Shabbos. But I took it a step further. And it shows you what type of New Yorker I am and why I probably should be the mayor, is I made a phone call, you'll like this, Noam, yesterday morning to the Department of Justice. I took it to the next level, the federal level, because I know that this creep anti-Semite mayor who hates the Jews, Mamdani, you heard me say that on Katie Pavlich tonight on News Nation last night in the open, he ain't going to do nothing. He don't care. You can pull a Jew's hair, tell him you want him dead. He doesn't care. So I took it upon myself to call Harmeet Dillon, who happens to run the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice. And she picked up. And she said, thank you for letting me know. Thank you for sending me this tweet and this video. And according to Harmeet Dillon yesterday, she's on it. She's on the case. And you know that Harmeet has been on this show quite a bit. There was even rumors weeks ago that maybe she would replace Pam Bondi, but we know now that Todd Blanche has that job full-time. Harmeet's terrific, and she can't stand Mamdani like I can. So the DOJ is all over this. But I told you this whole story, because it's another horrible New York story involving anti-Semitism where the mayor does nothing. You got all these podcasters. My friend Rios in New Jersey sends me stuff every day. All these pro-Mamdani podcasters who say that Sid Rosenberg is the reason for the rise in anti-Semitism. Sid and Lizzie and Ari, they're the reason. Because the mayor has never, ever, ever said he doesn't like the Jewish people or he wants the Jewish people dead. Are you a moron? Every opportunity he's got to stand up, like I told Melissa Russo right to her face when I ate her for lunch at the Israel Day Parade, NBC, Melissa Russo on Sunday. Every opportunity he's got to step up for the Jews, he fails miserably. I don't care what he says or what he doesn't say. He's a creep. But I told you this whole story, Noam, because as I was traveling in to New York City late last night, you're not going to believe this, but I went home after the show, and I got picked up by the car in Queens at 9:15 p.m. last night. Made my way to the city. You know, the station, News Nation, the channel, they do their programming live from the same building as Channel 11, WPIX, which is right here on 42nd Street. So I came all the way back to just about where we do the show from every day. I arrived about 10 o'clock last night. I got on set with Katie Pavlich at about 10:45 last night and got back in the car at about 10 after 11 and headed back to Queens. I think I walked in my door at about 12:15, and I was up this morning at 3:15. So I am on zero sleep, zero. But doesn't matter. I'm going to be great. So on the way to the city, what do? I text President Trump because I had a conversation the day before yesterday with my dear friend Bruce Blakeman running for governor. And I said, hey, Brucey, you need to do me a favor, okay? You need to call President Trump and tell him to stop. Stop what? Well, I'll tell you what happened. You ever hear of this guy, Noam Mehdi Hassan?
I've recognized that name, yeah.
Of course you do. Over 2 million followers, and he's one of the minions for Mamdani. He's like Hassan Piker. Same thing, hateful, all that. So he was a guest yesterday on Patrick Bet-David's podcast. It's a very, very popular podcast, PBD. You've heard of it, right?
I actually have not. I don't know.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, it's huge. This guy's huge, PBD. So he's got this guy, Mehdi Hassan, on, and has 2.1 million followers, and he loves Mamdani. And during the conversation, unprovoked, he brought me up, Mehdi Hassan, on PBD's podcast. He wanted to make the point that I actually reach out to the president all the time to tell him how how horrible Mamdani is, and the president always comes back with, nah, he's a nice guy. He's right about that. In that respect, in that case, he's right, Mehdi Hassan. And it's annoying the hell out of me, and it's making Bruce Blakeman's job more difficult. Every time the president says something nice about Mamdani, and I know that he eventually, during some of these last remarks, beats him up. He criticizes him. But he prefaces it all the time now with, he's a good guy, he's a nice guy. Stop doing that, Trump, okay? Nobody loves you more than me. Nobody adores you more than me. Stop it. He's not a good guy. He's not a nice guy. He hates everybody in this city. He hates Jews. He hates Christians. He hates cops. Stop it already. Stop. President Trump, whatever you got in your mind, you're playing chess. This one doesn't work. You're pissing off a lot of the people in New York that love you the most, and you're hurting Bruce. And Bruce agreed. Bruce agreed. Bruce is running against, you know this, Noam, Hochul and Mamdani, because they're a 1-2 punch. So the president needs to come out and just devour Hochul and Mamdani at every opportunity, not tell everybody what a nice guy Mamdani is. So I'm telling Blakeman this, and I go, by the way, you're going to be at the game Monday, because I had a feeling he would be. He said, yeah, I am. So President Trump, if you're trying to figure out if he's sitting on the court, he's not. He's not going to be sitting courtside. There's no way they can really protect him there. So he's going to be in Dolan's suite. I imagine there's some back entrance, underground, maybe where the locker rooms are, that he'll enter. So Trump will be in that suite, and Bruce Blakeman will be there. I'm not sure who else. Mike Lawler told me he's not going to be there. So I texted President Trump last night on the way to do Katie's show, and I said, Mr. President, lifelong Knicks fan, Mr. New York, if anybody...
You asked him for a ticket?
I literally said, well, not a ticket, but I want to be in that box.
Right.
Which, yeah, in essence, is asking for a ticket.
It is, yeah.
I said, if anybody should be in that box on Monday night, God damn it, it's got to be me.
Oh, my God. I can't believe you blew your favor on getting a Knicks ticket. I mean, maybe I don't blame you. I'd like to be there, too, but...
Yeah. Well, for me, it's two things. It's I want to be there for my Knicks, and I want to be with the president, So it's a double orgasm for me. It's a double orgasm. Frank Morano was right. He left out the Puerto Ricans, and they're furious with Mamdani, too. In fact, a couple of days ago, Ruben Diaz Jr., who I like a lot, I love that guy, he sent out a nasty tweet because the mayor blew those guys off, the Puerto Ricans, at their parade, and he tweeted, it was very nice, Ruben Diaz Jr. in the tweet with Frank Morano added me, Sid Rosenberg, because it's now become increasingly clear, whether it's Katie Pavlich doing a show out of Washington, D.C. on television, Joe Pags, Top 10 Talkers Magazine radio guy doing his show out of San Antonio, Texas, that even though there's a lot of Mamdani haters in this city, they all do a good job. Vicky Palladino, certainly Scott Lebedo, Savetsky, Ackerman, Hamra, that I am the face of that. I am the face of that campaign. Would you agree with that, no?
100%.
100%, yeah. So they all reach out to me, which is very nice. So Frank is right about the Puerto Ricans. But getting back to Trump.
The ticket, did he respond?
He has not responded yet.
Oh, no.
We're in the middle of a war, damn it. What's wrong with you?
Can you imagine how many people are hitting him up to be in that box to watch
so
Game 3?
But how many
Garden?
people are in New York that he goes on their show every couple of months, that he tells everybody? He just told Brooke Rollins, who's with the president today, I don't know if you know this, I know everything, they're in Wisconsin together, at some farm in Wisconsin. He literally told Brooke Rollins in the Oval Office 2 days ago, I love Sid. I love him. So, yeah, there's probably a lot of people asking him, though, but how many of those people does Trump really love?
When did you send this text?
Last night, about 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. So now it is 6:30.
Yeah, it's about 8.5 hours. He's up already.
Boy. Yeah, it's not good. Are you sweating a little bit?
Sweating a lot.
Yeah.
So I texted Blakeman. Afterwards, I said I did send the text, and Blakeman texted me, you're not going to believe this, 5:15 this morning. Quote, it's worth a shot.
I mean, I think it is, too. Why not?
Why not? What's he going to get mad at me?
You just either get you a ticket or ignore
No,
you.
it's just not going to happen. He'll just ignore me, and then in the end, when I do see him, and if I do bring it up, he'll just say, it's not my ticket, it's Dolan. It's not my event. Sid, you're at all my events. You even speak at my events. If it was my event, you would have been there. This is Dolan. Yeah. Dolan invited me. It's not me.
I just walk. They push me. I come in.
Right. That's right, Mr. President.
I'll do what I can.
But if he wants to be a real hero, President Trump, you have Sid in that box on Monday night. And now, if there's any doubt whether or not he is one of the 2 or 3 greatest presidents ever.
You're really not going to say this, are you?
Inshallah. Yes, you put all that doubt to bed. You put all that doubt to bed. Sid in that box. Sid, Trump, Blakeman. Whoever else is going to be in there, I don't even know who else.
Well, so there's only a certain amount of seats in the box, and then everybody else has to stand up and watch.
Who cares?
I mean, you've been doing right? You've said no, but then you has to figure out, you think his kids are going to want to go, right? Because they're probably big Knicks fans. You don't think the kids are?
I'm sure they are, but Junior is, he's all in love and everything. He ain't coming to New York for this. Maybe Eric and Laura. That I
could see them there.
Yeah, those two. But don't
Ivanka
forget,
and Jared, I could see them there, too.
No
You
chance.
don't think he's a basketball fan?
No chance. No, he probably is, but not a... You think... I said this to Kilmeade this morning. I'm starting to get really annoyed watching this series in New York because now everyone's a Knicks fan. Everyone's a Knicks fan. Kathy Hochul, that doofus... She's a moron. She thought the Knicks won the championship in 1993. She did a video a couple days yesterday with the former Speaker of the City Council, also a horrible woman, Adrian Adams. And if you follow me on Twitter, at Sid Rosenberg19, and I really compel all of you to follow me, as Miranda Devine says, there is no better Twitter follow because I go directly at people all day, every day. I curse. I'm bad, So I just ripped Kathy Hochul and Adrian Adams a new anus on Twitter yesterday because no one believes that you care about the Knicks. Again, you thought the Knicks won the championship in 93. It was 20 years before that. Same thing with Mamdani. I don't care how many... He'll be there Monday night with Jamani Williams and one of these losers with his stupid John Starks jersey and doing the old, let me rise, let's go Knicks. He's a loser. You think Mamdani knows anything about this Knicks team before Patrick Ewing? There's no chance. And all these snot-nosed kids that are making New York look really bad at these watch parties and like tonight, they're going to leave it. It's a Friday night, not even a Wednesday, which is midweek. Now you got a Friday night. All these kids are all hopped up on liquor and drugs.
No, tonight's going to be a mess.
A mess. They already arrested a whole bunch of people on Wednesday. They are turning our city. They are turning our city into Detroit and Los Angeles, which I'm not okay with. And what bothers me is 80% of all these people that are on New York One and all the politicians. Answer this, Noman, be honest. Because I am watching it. You think they're watching the Knicks and Trailblazers in November?
No. I mean,
you think they're watching the Knicks and Grizzlies in February?
No.
So go up yourself. You're a big Knicks fan. You got a jersey. You're drunk. You're hanging out. You're nothing. You're not even close. You're not even close. If you're not watching this team all year long, and yes, I'm making the rules. Oh, shut up, Sid. I'm making the rules. If you don't watch the team all year long, I'm talking about, like I said, Memphis in February, Atlanta in March, the Nets in November. If you're not watching these games and you all of a sudden are showing up now because it's the thing to do, you're not a Knicks fan.
Oh, it's embarrassing.
It's all over the city.
Well, it's beyond embarrassing.
All over the city. These kids are not watching the Knicks play Minnesota in December. Stop the lies. Hochul, Mamdani. You're a bunch of lying, thieving assholes. Anyway, happy Friday.
Yeah. Well, the kids are
Inshallah.
making the city look like amateurs. That's what this.
So are the politicians.
Yeah,
are
the
idiots.
politicians are worse.
But the kids are worse because they're getting arrested. Yeah. I don't think Mamdani and Hochul will get arrested. They're just embarrassing themselves.
You look like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing in the world. We've never had anything like this.
Right.
It's truly embarrassing.
Well, the best point though was made by Beningo yesterday. He was right. You get just over 2 million. When the Yankees win the World Series in the Canyon of Heroes, maybe 2.2. But the Yankees, they may have more fans, but it's close. They split the city with the Mets. And the Jets and Giants, same thing. Giants have more fans, but it's close. Jets and Giants split the city. Basketball, there's no splitting. Outside of Evan Roberts, 2 or 3 rappers, and 3 or 4 Orthodox Jews, nobody roots for the Brooklyn Nets. Everybody in New York loves the Knicks.
That's not even close.
Right, so you're going to get like 3 million people Not 2.2, not 2.3. 3 million people in the Canyon of Heroes. And does anyone have any real confidence, not, Jessica Tisch, she'll do the best she can, that this mayor and this city is going to do a good job with that? We are going to look exactly like L.A. and Detroit, turning over cars, setting fires, getting arrested. We never did that here. Never. But this city now is all about chaos. You've got a mayor that encourages all these rallies, all these protests, which are riots. That's what they are. They're not. They're riots. And this city is about to embarrass ourselves on a national level in a big way.
Inshallah.
And it's sad. Inshallah. So it's sad. That's what we have to look forward to, Noam. It'll be good for you, though. Cause
it is.
You'll have news stories.
That's right. I like chaotic days.
You know what I'm saying, bro?
Did you see that the mayor?
I didn't see anything. I don't know.
Well, he was, of course, leaning in on the fact that he's a Knicks fan, and now he put together a 30-second TV ad.
I saw it.
Yeah.
It's funny because everybody's killing Jackson Dart, the quarterback of the Giants, because Jackson Dart had the nerve, and I was there in Rockland County. I'm going back to Rockland County tomorrow. They got their annual Lincoln Ball event, and to Mike Lawler and the Republican Party, they're going to honor Lee Zeldin. I'm going to speak. It's a big deal. But I was there 2 weeks ago today when President Trump was introduced by Jackson Dart, and Dart got killed by everybody. So that's bad, right? If Jackson Dart just introduces the president, that's bad. But if Mamdani endorses Democrat candidates holding basketballs and talking about the Knicks, why is that okay? Why is that okay? Is that what you're going to tell me about there, no?
No, I'm just telling you that the mayor's trying to cash in on this big time.
He is endorsing Democrat candidates and linking them to the Knicks. There's one picture of him with three of them, three losers, real lowlives, holding on to basketballs.
Yeah, I have a little bit of it. It's a 30-second ad. Brad Landers holding a basketball.
Brad Lander.
Yes.
Listen, I don't encourage violence, but if somebody walked outside of Brad Lander's house and beat his ass up and down the street, I'll be honest, I'd be celebrating. Let's go. Let me hear this.
Okay, here it is.
I'm Maria Elisa Avila Chevalier, and I'll defend New York by abolishing ICE.
I'm Claire Valdez, and I'll stand up against bad landlords.
This is the team. This is our year.
Yeah, and there's like blue and orange in the background. They're doing everything except wearing Knicks uniforms.
Pathetic.
Yeah.
I don't remember a race where I hated both people, like this Dan Goldman, Brad Lander race, and it's so bad for Lander that I wanted Coleman to win. He's not gonna. Lander's up. Well, God, excuse me. Lander's up a lot in that race. So, and he's just one of the most vile human beings God ever created. He's. I'm embarrassed he calls himself Jewish, as Brad Lander. So yeah, the mayor is taking advantage of the Knicks, but when Dart introduces the president, that's a problem. See the hypocrisy?
Inshallah.
What's that now? You see the hypocrisy here? Yeah. What else is going on? I got all these amazing guests. I got all these Trump administration people in studio today. So
yeah, the Knicks that's the story. Do you really want to talk about anything else? Everything else is just desperately sad or boring. So.
Like what? Well, I already talked about the subway attack. It's funny. The only people, and I'm the only guy that will say this because I don't care, and I tell the truth. The only people that had no issue living with blacks, for as long as I can remember as a little kid, was Jews. And we know that the whole thing with Yankel Rosenbaum and Crown Heights and Al Sharpton, that lowlife, F the whole thing up. When I was a kid growing up, when a black guy came into Howard Beach, for example, they chased him onto the Belt Parkway with baseball bats. You remember that. No black people were going to live in Bay Ridge or Bensonhurst. I can promise you that. Promise you that, okay? The Irish, the biggest racists ever, are Irish, okay? So the only people that coexisted and lived with the blacks were the Jews. And yet, almost every anti-Semitic attack in this city, well over 90%, is a black person. Like, where are their dopey mothers and fathers that say, hey, when I was, we were young like you, we lived with the Jews. Where are they? You know that, Noam. The only community that the blacks were able to coexist with was the Jews. The Irish hated them. The Italians hated them. Everybody hated them. But we lived with them. There were no issues. And now every attack like this disgusting animal, this black lady on the train, is a black person attacking a Jew. Is that not? Am I not accurate here?
Well, a fair number, or maybe a large number,
92%.
Is it really 92%?
Yes. And do you not remember growing up as a kid that nobody wanted to live with the blacks? Nobody. Just the Jews. That's it. You don't remember the Bell Parkway incident with the baseball bats?
Of course. Well, look,
New Park Pizza?
That is even true today, that you have some of these Orthodox Jewish communities, for sure, their neighbors are African-Americans.
100%. You know, still East New York and Williamsburg. Williamsburg, you go one block, it's all Orthodox Jews. The next block is all blacks. I mean, what's going on? What's the problem? Here's a problem. Because they hear from the parents that these Jewish landlords, right, these genocidal, leechy Jewish landlords are making it impossible for mommy and daddy to have an apartment in this city. So when you want $20 to go out with your friends and buy some weed, we don't have it because of the Jewish landlords. You know, that's what they hear in their homes. So they go out and let's beat up a Jew today. Why not? They don't say, hey, just so you know, all these groups in this city, they hate us, not the Jews. They don't tell them that. They tell them the landlord, you see, he's a Jew bastard and he's screwing us. That's why this is the best show in America by far. No one's going to tell you this. Nobody. No one's got the balls to do it. I'm doing it. So it's disappointing that the black community, of all communities, have become public enemy number one for the Jews. Of all communities. Noam Laden.
Yeah, that attack on the C train was just so intense. You know, there's video, there's audio of it, and you can hear this woman screaming that Jews eat children, and everybody's just kind of looking at her. And if you want to hear it, I mean, it's...
Well, we played the audio at the very top of the open when I was on Katie Pavlich's show late last night on News Nation. The interview with me was preceded by the very first on-air interview with this woman, 27-year-old Jewish lady. So you heard from her already on our show, but play the actual audio from the attack.
Yeah, and you can hear her attacking the woman, actually.
So Jews are eating kids.
Disgusting.
Yeah, smell the kids.
Yeah. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Jews are eating kids. Whoa. It's okay for her to eat a kid, but I can't choke her down?
I was just assaulted. Okay, yeah. You're gonna
So Jews are eating kids.
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah, that's America, folks. So, and that's New York. And, you know, here it is again, another opportunity for Mamdani. All you podcasters out there that rip me every day. He's got nothing against the Jews. It's the Zionists he doesn't like. I'm telling you, that's the oldest excuse in the book. That's the racist guy who says, oh, I got black friends. Or the homophobic guy who goes, oh, I got gay friends. No, they go together. All Zionism is I'm proud of Israel. I'm proud to be a Jew. They go together. You can't love one and hate the other and be a great Jew. And you can't really hate them both and not be an anti-Semite. So here's Mamdani's opportunity, you dumbass podcasters, to come out and say what I saw on that train happen to that Jewish lady is not going to happen in this city. He may do it later today, but again, it's way too late. Where's he been for 2 days? I was on TV talking about it last night. I've already called the DOJ and Harmeet Dillon. Where is the goddamn mayor? Where is he, Noam?
I don't know. I know he had a press conference yesterday. I don't know that he talked about this.
I don't think he did.
Well, if it was turned around, he'd be talking about it.
Oh, sure. If it was a Muslim person on the train, the Islamophobia.
Kids.
Yeah. Please.
All right. It would be an outrage in the city.
I hate the mayor. I hate his guts. He's a phony. He's a fraud. And all you people in the media and you dumb podcasters who run cover for this guy, you all disgust me too. All of you. And all you phony Knicks fans, you're not fooling anybody. You're not part of our crew. You may be outside the Garden. You may be holding some office in New York City. You're not a Knicks fan. If you don't know who Hawthorne Wingo is, you're not a Knicks fan. All right?
That's a great shirt. That's the way it should be.
Isn't that a great one?
No, that's good. I'm going to get that one.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Today is the annual Talkers Magazine radio conference, which to you folks out there means nothing. But in our business, it's kind of a big deal. John Catsimatidis is going to speak there today, and Chad Lopez is going to speak there today, Lee Harris, and they convinced me, so I got to go all the way to Hofstra University to speak on a panel at like 4 o'clock. this afternoon. But the heavy 100 list came out this week, and it's a weird list. I don't agree with a lot of the numbers. Mark Levin should never be less than 2 or 3. He's number 12. I find that to be ridiculous. I'm number 13. Fine. Even though, like I said yesterday, there's 6 or 7 people in the top 10 who don't garner nearly as much love and reverence as I do, from the president to the people on the streets. That's fine. I don't know exactly what the criteria is. It's not my job. But I like Michael Harrison a lot. He's been very loyal and good to me for many, many years. And it's his conference. So Pags on this list, he's number 7. And he does his show. He lives in San Antonio, Texas. Ironically, he wanted me to come on and talk about Mamdani. And then it's like, wow, Spurs and Knicks, here we go. So he texted me yesterday. I'll see him today. And he said, we lost game 1, but we're the better team. Don't you love when they do that? I think Jim Harden is still saying that.
Oh, please, come on.
Even after the Knicks swept the Cavaliers and embarrassed them by like 30 points in a few games, James Harden still said after the series we're the better team. And San Antonio will say it too. Alonzo Mourning said it every time the Knicks beat the Heat years and years ago. And I would say that in a one-game Super Bowl, sometimes the better team does lose. You're not going to convince me that the Tom Brady, as a rookie, his Patriots were better than the Rams, who had won the Super Bowl 2 years prior. Truth is that Dick Vermeil knew how to coach and Mike Martz didn't. Never gave the football to Marshall Faulk and allowed the Pats to stay in the game, and Brady won. They were better. Even the Giants. No bigger Giant fan than me. But the 1990 Bills were a lot better than the Giants, okay? Jeff Hostetler and LT on his last leg. But Parcells got it done. See, football you can outcoach more than any other sport. Basketball, stop it. Phil Jackson was great, came to the Knicks, he was terrible. Larry Brown was great, came to the Knicks, he was terrible. There are other dogs in basketball or baseball, you're not going to win. But football, you can outcoach somebody. One game, like Parcells did, like Bill Belichick did over Mike Martz, and you can win, even if you're not the better team. But when you win 4 games in a series, 4, you're the better team. Is that fair to say?
There's no question. You're
right?
Right on it, yes. I used to have arguments with guys who, after the Giants beat the Patriots twice, and a couple of my friends who didn't like the Giants, like, come on, the Patriots are a better team than the Giants. I went, well, if that's the case, why are we playing the Super Bowl then?
We beat them twice.
Yeah.
See, one win, I can see that. I mean, they were loaded. Randy Moss, Wes Welker, Tom Brady. But the Giants are better defensively. Giant defensive line won that first Super Bowl, and we were better.
That argument
we were better.
Is so tiring to
hear.
Is, yeah. I'm like, listen, man, then hand the trophy to the Patriots,
right,
and don't play the damn game.
Right.
This game is selling billions for 30-second commercials. It means something.
Right, no, it does. But in football, you can be the better team and lose.
In one game, right.
It's one
game. A couple of bad breaks, and you lose the game.
But you can't win a 4-game series and then...
Not the way they're destroying this team.
Exactly.
Jalen Brunson's really not that good. He hasn't even... Yeah, right. Until you get on the court against him, then you'll find out.
How good he is.
Right.
So let's see if Wembanyama, and he's a superstar. I got nothing bad to say about the kid. He's 22 years old.
He's going to be great.
Great. He's already great. He may be the best player in the NBA right now. But he's going to come up big tonight. And if they contain him again, Towns and the Knicks contain him again, even if he has a better offensive game than game 1, and the Knicks win, it's lights out. I'm sorry. There's no way the Knicks are coming back to New York up 2-0, because at that point, it would be their 13th consecutive postseason win. 13. They're not losing this series.
No, the Knicks could play 2 bad games next week, probably. Spurs are just going to be
They're going to be
defeated.
done. Right.
They'll be done.
So the Spurs, it's in their best interest. Okay? It's in the Spurs' best interest, if they want to make a series out of this, to win this game at home tonight. If they don't, there will be a ticket tape rate. There will be one anyway. I still think the Knicks are going to win. But it'll be a lot quicker if the Spurs lose tonight. And President Trump in the building on Monday, that place is going to go nuts.
Can you imagine if they come back up 2-0 with the Garden? They'll be like on
Monday
night's
going to be nuts.
Yeah,
it's going to be nuts
crazier.
anyway, even 1-1. Because, again, for folks that don't follow sports closely, what you always want to do when you spend the first 2 games on the road in any sport is grab 1. Because if you grab one, you've now taken away the home court advantage. Why? Because in a 7-game series, the Spurs get 4 home games and the Knicks get 3. But now it would be 3-2. So the Knicks have already taken away the home court advantage from San Antonio. Now you fall behind 2-0. Now you're just probably in a spot you can't come back from. So the Knicks, they already accomplished what they really wanted to do. Take at least one of the first 2 on the road. You're in great shape. So they take the first one, and now they're really in great shape for the game later on tonight. All right, fraud is a big thing in this country. Fraud. How many guests do we bring on? How often do we talk about it? All the guys that are out there, including Lee Zeldin, who I'm going to see tomorrow night in Rockland County, doing a great job uncovering billions of dollars in fraud. And that's what our dear friend, the former congressman, now the general inspector of the Labor Department, Anthony D'Esposito, does on a daily basis. But I've never met the actual labor inspector before this morning. His name is Keith Sonderling. He's a big deal in the Trump administration, and he's a great guy. And he's a Boca kid. And I lived in Boca Raton for 16 years. So Anthony and Keith from the Labor Department, President Trump's Labor Department, coming up next.
This is Sid on Sports. Oh, my goodness! Sponsored by Peerless Boilers on 77 WABC.
Justin Ellick here with your sports update, sponsored by Pete Morgan and Peerless Boilers. Go to peerlessboilers.com to find a dealer near you. Peerless Boilers, the world's best built boilers. Look ahead, 8:30 p.m. tonight, Knicks and Spurs NBA Finals Game 2 out in San Antonio. Knicks 6.5-point road underdogs heading into Game 2. Of course, they're up 1-0. In the Bronx, Ryan McMahon hit a go-ahead single in the 7th. Carlos Rodon combined with 3 relievers on a 2-hitter, and the Yankees beat the Guardians 2-1 to salvage the finale of a 3-game series that star Aaron Judge missed the game due to a bruised rib on his right side that was causing shoulder pain. And then later yesterday, the Yankees said Judge will be sidelined indefinitely with a stress fracture of his ribs. The team said the 3-time AL MVP was diagnosed with the stress fracture of the first rib on his right side and will need to rest and have limited activity. Really can't do much of anything for a couple of months. So we'll see what happens with Judge, but the Yankees saying yesterday, quote, he'll be back at some point this season. Up next for the Yankees, the lefty Ryan Weathers will get the start in tonight's series opener of a 3-game series against the visiting Boston Red Sox. First pitch from Yankee Stadium scheduled for 7:05 p.m. Mets back at it tonight after an off day yesterday. They're out in San Diego against the Padres. 9:40 p.m. first pitch there for the first of 3. Christian Scott will start for the Mets, and Stanley Cup final picked up last night with Game 2. Hurricanes edging out the Golden Knights 4-3 in overtime down in Carolina. That series now knotted at a game apiece. To sports, sponsored by Pete Morgan and Peerless Boilers. Go to peerlessboilers.com to find a dealer near you. Peerless Boilers, the world's best built boilers. I'm Justin Ellick on 77 WABC.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
So we have a lot of great guests on this show, and we do love everybody. I tell everybody how much I love them. But I'm not going to lie. There are certain times on this show where it's really exciting. And that's the case right now. My dear friend, the former Congressman Anthony D'Esposito, who's been doing a tremendous job as the General Inspector of the Labor Department, had an opportunity to go back and run again against Laura Gillum, decided not to do it, so Driscoll hopefully can beat her. Hopefully, Janine, we love you. I don't know. But Anthony's going to stay in his position for President Trump, which I'm happy he's doing. And with him, this is a real treat, is the Secretary of Labor, Keith Sonderling, who has literally devoted his last 8 years of his life, and he's only 43, to Trump's Labor Department. Even stuck around for a while there with Joe Biden. So these are 2 great Americans and 2 terrific guys, and it's great to have you here this morning. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us,
brother. Yeah. Let's get to you first, Keith. You are 43 years old. You've been doing this now since the first Trump administration. How does this all start for you?
I was a labor and employment lawyer in Boca Raton, Florida, a place you're very familiar with.
Well, lived there for 16 years, just west of Yamato on 441 in Saturnia. I'm still a legend there, just so you know.
You are. And I had a great life down there, just like you did. And then when President Trump won, it was a once-in-a-generational opportunity to leave beautiful Palm Beach County and move from one swamp to another.
But how does that happen? Did you know President Trump? How did that whole thing start? You're in Boca. How do you get to President Trump?
Well, when the new administration starts, they're looking for private sector people, and that's why the Trump administration is so great. He didn't take government bureaucrats. He didn't take the typical swamp people, and he got people who are actually dealing and practicing in the same areas to go run these agencies. And, what a concept that is. And that's why the Trump administration, both of them have been so successful, because they take people from out of D.C., they take people with real life experience, and they put them in these roles. So that's how I was able to get in when they were looking for people who actually knew labor and employment, and I was able to move up to D.C. And since then, it's just been a complete wild ride. But the easiest thing for me is just being able to work for the president, because he is the most dedicated president in the history of this country to the American worker. And we've never seen such support for American workers and businesses than we have under President Trump.
No question about it. In just the last couple of days on this show, I've had Brooke Rollins was on. She's with the president today in Wisconsin. They go to these farms, they milk cows. It's weird, actually. I don't know. But
not something we do in Boca, right?
No, we don't do much of that in Boca. And, all these, the Small Business Administration girl, Kelly Lepler, she was here a couple of days ago. So the whole team is amazing, and you're all young and good looking like you, Ant. And, Ant, you're having fun with this because you were a great cop for a long time. And you told me during the break, it's kind of like cops and robbers again. Here you are out there finding bad people, uncovering fraud, billions and billions of dollars. So you're really enjoying this work, aren't you?
Yeah, what's great about it is, and Keith will tell you, that the Inspector General for the Labor Department has one of the broadest jurisdictions of any Inspector General in the federal government. And I have agents throughout the nation who are doing excellent work. And depending on where our offices are, they're right in the mix with gun cases and drug trafficking, human trafficking, child trafficking, and now obviously we're focusing on the fraud that we always have. And you look at states like New York with Kathy Hochul, places like California with Gavin Newsom, who's by far and away the king of fraud, and I would say Kathy Hochul's the queen of fraud. The nation loses almost $1 trillion a year to fraud. And the fact is that what a unique concept. President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance said, well, let's tackle it. And they've literally taken a entire government approach where they've given everyone the opportunity and the resources that they need. And they've flat out told the U.S. Attorney's Office, when our investigators present cases to you about fraud, we don't care how much it is. We want people prosecuted. We want people put in handcuffs, and we want them put in jail. And the fact is, it's back to my roots. And I think that the agents and the people in the president's task force team, they love having a guy who actually did the work, who worked in the streets of New York City, who worked in Brownsville, Brooklyn. A shout out to the 7-3 precinct, where I was a cop and a detective. They love that there's an investigator that actually can look at these cases and say, well, I think we should do this, or maybe we should do that, or, wants to go out there and rally the troops. And we're making a difference. We're putting handcuffs on people. We're putting people in jail. We're traveling around the country doing takedowns, and President Trump and Vice President Vance are committed to this effort. And I think it's going to make a lasting change in this nation. And,
so do
and that's
I.
really what's important.
I love it, too. And you're a tough guy. You're a sweetheart. You're one of my best friends, but you're a tough guy. And you're great at this job. So it's not just you guys, right? I had Dr. Oz in this studio less than 2 weeks ago, and talking about New York and Kathy Hochul, he's uncovered a lot of fraud with Medicare and Medicaid here in New York. Lee Zeldin, I'll be introducing Lee Zeldin tomorrow night at a big dinner from Mike Lawler up in Rockland County. He was the one who started all this at the EPA, billions of dollars, even going back to that louse Stacey Abrams, And J.D. Vance, you said, is working on this too. So you have all these different people and all these different agencies, right, uncovering fraud all over the country. And like you said, it's in the billions, end up in the trillions. I mean, how is that not something that the Democrats, Keith, didn't look into before? And why do they seem to be, I don't know, kind of quiet about it now?
They turned a blind eye to fraud, and they allowed this money to go out without the controls and checks. And this is your taxpayer dollars. Every cent that went out that was stolen was a theft on you. Or as Anthony says, it's also a tax on the Americans. But, from the Department of Labor's perspective, our role is related to the unemployment insurance system. That's why we have such a big role in the vice president's task force. And during the pandemic, this is a program that's really just supposed to help workers get back on their feet temporarily, because the Trump administration is putting people in high-paying, high-skilled jobs. The unemployment insurance system during the pandemic, when a lot of people were hurting, a lot of people were laid off, just supposed to be temporary. During that time, $900 billion went out to help Americans during that tough time. But we found out later that $135 billion of that was stolen. Fraud.
Wow.
Yep. And because of the lack of controls and the lack of checks. And the really egregious part, if you break down some of that $135 billion, some great stats for you and your listeners. Nearly $29 billion of that went to the same Social Security numbers in multiple states.
Come on, is that
it
true?
gets better.
Yeah.
$139 million to dead people.
Dead people, right.
$16 billion to suspicious emails, just made up emails. $267 million to federal prisoners, and my favorite, $1.2 billion to people under 14. And this is a program for people who lost their job.
I mean, come on.
And here's some of it gets even better. Hold on. $69 million to people with birth dates more than 15 years in the future. Somebody who was born in the year 2154.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Got unemployment insurance.
2154.
2154.
So if you guys are not great at math, that's
yes. And some more math for you too. $59 million went to 24,000 people over the age of 115 years old. And I think the oldest person in America, I keep Googling it because it changes. I think it's either 114 or 115, but that's one person.
One person.
And we're talking about 25,000 people over 115. And it just turned into a joke. It turned into an easy way to steal our American taxpayer money. And I'll let Anthony talk about how criminal this got, not just in the U.S., but overseas. But that's what this task force is about. And that's why the partnership between my office and Anthony's office is so strong, because we're working together. On my side, we're putting controls and checks in so this never happens again. And on Anthony's side, he's going to put these people in jail.
I love it. This is the voice you just heard. He's terrific. Is the Secretary of Labor, Keith Sonderling. Anthony, of course, is Anthony D'Esposito, your friend from Nassau County. My friend, the lovely Emily Austin, sends her regards. She's listening right now on the way to the airport.
We're visiting the OHEL later.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Oh, that's very nice.
Keith's first time.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So tell me then, you two guys are working together. Like he said, he's uncovering this and then you're tuning these people up. But I know cops hate that term. But is there any way above and beyond putting people in jail? And if this sounds ignorant, I'm sorry. But is there any way, Anthony, to recover some of those things?
I mean, and that's what we're working on. I mean, we were able to find and uncover nearly $1 billion still left on prepaid debit cards.
Not uncover, recover.
Yes, and then
get it back.
So what the thing now is with the leadership of Todd Blanche, our Attorney General, and the work of Colin McDonald, who's the Assistant Attorney General, who's really supposed to be focused on fraud, we're now seeing prosecutors and U.S. attorneys where not only are we putting people in jail, but we're requiring restitution. So if you stole, $100,000, you owe the government back the $100,000. And if you stole $3 million, well, you owe the government back $3 million. And I think that's what the American people want to see, right? They look at this person stole $5 million, they're doing 6 months in jail. Is it really, it could be worth it. Some people are saying it's worth it. But when you have to pay it back, I think, and that's what's sending the message. And I think that's what's key about this task force. And that's what's key about President Trump is that he looks at it with common sense and he says, if you stole the money, we should be giving the money back to the American people.
100%.
And you should go to jail.
And you should go to jail.
Right.
I was watching, I was on Katie again last night, and this guy, Chris Hahn, was on. I know him from here. He worked here for a little bit. So
you're going to Hofstra later?
I am going to Hofstra later.
Chris Hahn was one of my professors at Hofstra.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you meet him in person, he's a nice guy. You wouldn't dislike him. But he goes on TV, he's a complete asshole. I mean, this guy. I mean, you talk about a liberal with a capital L. I mean, just a complete maniac. And he's talking about how, this whole thing started in Minnesota with Nick Shirley and how the Republicans, played this game and turned it into a big drama and violent, and the way they're doing it is not about the way to do it. Yeah, he's going on and on. So wait a second. Nick Shirley knocked on a couple of doors and nobody was there. I mean, what exactly did Nick Shirley do that was so unreasonable?
Nick Shirley did what the mainstream media should have done, and that is go to places like Minnesota and look at daycare centers that the actual sign, instead of Learning Center, was spelled Leering Center. And the fact is that that money is supposed to go to our most vulnerable population, our elderly, our sick, special needs, children. And the people in Minnesota, and the Somalian refugees were literally, bank robbers without masks. And the fact is that We are now going to all of these different states. We're uncovering the fraud. And when he talks about violence, if you want to talk about violence, one of the things that the task force is going to be focused on is the fact that the money that's coming from these fraud scams is actually funding the violent crime that we see in places like New York City and throughout the United States of America.
Right.
These perps are sitting in apartments, and saying, all right, let's register 100 people in our apartments for unemployment insurance fraud. And then they're using the money to traffic guns and drugs. And the fact is, we just did a case recently where we found millions of dollars being sent over to the Chinese Communist Party.
Wow. And that's the point I want you to know.
Life.
This is not just funding activity here in the U.S. for criminals, but also it's going to our foreign adversaries overseas. So they're, scamming the unemployment insurance
Important
system.
you said foreign adversaries. The Chinas, the Russias, the North Koreas, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And they're going out there. They're hacking into our unemployment insurance system. If they see it so easy for Americans to scam this, criminal rings here in America, they're sophisticated. So they're also taking this money too. So now they're taking your American taxpayer dollars. It's going overseas against us. I mean, it's even worse than anything you'd imagine. And the Biden administration allowed it. The Trump administration is just saying, not in this administration. We're never having this again. We're putting the controls in check for the long time to stop this crime. But also, we're going to go after everyone. I think that's really important. But once the public, you're seeing it through Nick Shirley's videos, but even in our space too, when why are there these guns in the street in New York City? Where do they get the money to buy that? Through your taxpayer dollars.
Yeah, basically.
And who knows? We could eventually uncover, and we're going to look into it. Who's paying for these encampments on Columbia University and these petri dishes of hate throughout the United States. Right. Yes, it's Soros. Yes, it's others.
Well,
but
you've also got CARE. You've also got the Muslim Brotherhood, which Marco Rubio needs to designate a terror group tomorrow, not today.
But who
tomorrow.
knows which of their donors are using this type of fraud to fund these?
All of them are. So you guys are heroes, is what you are. And
the president's the hero who's been able to give us the chance to do this. And without President Trump wanting to make that change and empowering the vice president to do this task force, it would have been status quo, business as usual, our taxpayer dollars being stolen, these gangs and drug lords taking all of our money.
And that's one of the reasons as to why we have to work so hard and fight so hard in places like California and New York to try to take our states back.
California is great. They got autism centers and there's nobody in the building. Nobody in the building.
Well, let's talk about New York here. When you look at the fraud numbers in the unemployment insurance system, you won't be surprised that New York has the highest in the country.
Of course not.
17% of all the unemployment insurance that goes out in New York State. Fraud. 17%.
That's Kathy Hochul for you. Okay, 60 seconds because I'm being told you guys have a lot to do today. You've got Newsmax, you've got Stu Varney, you've got a big thing coming up with. Did you tell me 9/11 or something?
Yeah, we're going to head down and meet with some of the brave firefighters from the UFA and the UFOA. We're visiting one of the firehouses downtown, and then we're going to take a walk over to the 9/11 memorial, pay our respects. And on the way home, before we start Shabbos, we're going to head over to the Ohel.
Oh, that's awesome. The firehouse right around the corner, Keith, literally go on Lexington Avenue and make a left. That was one of the stops that President Trump made when he was here with that ridiculous court case with that lowlife Alvin Bragg every day. Part of the reason why Trump won one, he was a genius. He'd go to a barbershop in the Bronx. He would go all over New York and have these big rallies. The firehouse right around the corner is where he did his first responder rally here in New York, and I was there standing outside.
You came up in conversation last night. We had dinner with our next governor, Bruce Blakeman, and Chairman Cairo. We had a great night.
Yeah.
We got Keith some good Italian food.
Oh, you went to Rosario?
We went to we did Rosario for lunch. We went to King Umberto for lunch, and then we went to Il Villaggio for dinner.
Oh, nice place.
I got the full Long Island experience, and for me, my parents were born and raised in the Bronx. I was born in Manhattan. It's just great to be back here and great talking about President Trump's policy. He's the best president for American workers, and New York City and Long Island and everywhere else is learning that quickly in these trips.
Fantastic. Well, it's great to meet you, Keith. You're a wonderful guy, and thank you for your service the last 8 years for President Trump. And 43 years old, my God, your future is so bright, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I love you, Anthony.
Keith asked yesterday, how did you and Sid get so close? I said, well, we're like brothers from another mother, but really is when he was my guest at the State of the Union and got thrown out.
That's a true story. I got thrown out, right?
I heard the whole story last night.
Very little press, but I got thrown out. Yeah. And then we went to the RNC together, and we slept together, which is gay, but all right, it's out there now. Rosenberg banged the Esposito in Milwaukee.
Congratulations.
It was a long night. We did go to Bone Fish Grill first. He loves that place. All right. You guys are both amazing. You all love to pieces, Anthony D'Esposito.
Too,
Keith, you're doing a tremendous job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work, my guys. Thank you so much.
Look forward to coming back.
All right, Keith Sonderling right there, the Labor Secretary, and my man, the General Inspector, Anthony D'Esposito. Two great Americans, really two terrific guys. We'll take a short break. Lots more to do. KT McFarland, Michael Harrison, Brian Kilmeade.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Congratulations to the Psychedelic Furs this morning. They did that song. And, Lewis, you pointed out that, who is it, the lead singer's birthday today?
Yep. The guy, his name's Richard Butler.
How old is he?
He is 70.
Ay.
Oh, my God.
I know, right? Right, Noam? Right?
We are so old.
We're so
if he's
old,
70
bro.
years old, oh, my God.
He's 70.
And his brother is now if you're a big Psychedelic Furs fan, they had to cancel their North American tour because the brother is undergoing heart surgery.
God, of course.
He's got triple bypass, I think. But they say he's going to recover fine, and the tour is put off till the end of the year.
Terrible.
Or something like that.
I love this band, though. I do love their music.
His brother's in the band, if I didn't say that.
Yeah. No, you did say that.
Tim.
So we're going to talk to Harrison coming up next. So as I told you earlier, after running back into the city last night to be the very last guest on Katie Pavlich Tonight on News Nation, I think I got on set about 10:45 p.m. last night, got back to Queens after midnight, slept for about 3 hours, maybe less, was back here in these studios with Lewis, circa 5 a.m., and then when the show is over, as you heard me and Anthony D'Esposito just talk about, I got to go to Hofstra University. Going out to Hofstra for this annual Talkers Magazine radio conference. And our guys are going to be there. Congrats to our main guy, John Catsimatidis. He's going to speak there today. Our fearless president, the great Chad Lopez. He's going to speak there today. Lee Harris. I don't know who else, but I haven't gone in a couple of years. And Michael Harrison said, I know, Sid, you're big time now. You're too big for us. And I said, that's true. But that's not the only reason I'm not coming. So, long story short, my wife talked me into it. And she reminded me how good Michael Harrison has been to me over the years. And he really has. He's been very, very nice to me. And we did finish number 13, which is too low, but fine, on the heavy 100 list. So we're going to talk to you, Michael Harrison, who's a great radio guy. You talk about people who just know this medium. Sorry, Alan Snippen. Sorry, go back to your root canal. This one belongs to Michael Harrison, not you. So Harrison, Talkers Magazine is next, and before it's all said and done,
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
They hold this annual radio day, this conference at Hofstra University. So my guy Bruce Blakeman running for governor, he's going to be very excited. I'll be in Nassau County tomorrow. And it's a big day. They got a lot of the radio legends. I was just a guest, in fact, on Wednesday, Joe Pag's show. And ironically, he's in San Antonio right before my Knicks beat his Spurs in Game 1 on Wednesday night. All these great radio guys get together later on today at Hofstra. And just a couple days ago, too, Talkers Magazine released what they call their Heavy 100 list, which is a big deal. I can tell you this. Every program owner, every station manager, every producer, every program director, every talent, they all read it. It's a very, very big honor. Rating the top 100 shows. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of personalities and shows. So if you make it, it's no small feat. And for the second consecutive year, we're number 13. Now, keep in mind, every show in the top 25 outside of me is syndicated. For example, Sean Hannity, over 700 stations. Mark Levin, one step ahead of me at number 12, should be higher, but that's fine. He's on over 400 stations. I'm on one. Now, yes, the cell phone allows you to download the free app, so I have listeners in Tel Aviv, I've got listeners in Miami, all over the world, but I'm the only show that's not syndicated to make the top 25, let alone 13, so it's a big deal. And the guy that's in charge of all of it is a dear, dear friend of mine for many, many years, the beloved and revered Michael Harrison. Michael, good morning, buddy. How are you?
Sid, that's such a beautiful introduction. Thank you. And congratulations to you, because you are in what they call rarefied space. And in some ways, yeah, you're the highest ranked local non-syndicated host. And of course, you know, it's hard to syndicate morning shows. And you're such an intricate part of New York. I think you're going to go further. I think the sky's the limit for you. But congrats to you for a remarkable career, and you're riding high right now. As I said, the sky's the limit. We ain't seen nothing yet in terms of your career.
You've always been that way with me, even in my toughest times. And I was basically excommunicated to South Florida and working at one of my stations I worked at. I'm not kidding you, Michael, when I tell you the size of the station was the size of this little studio that is on the opposite side of my studio at ABC right now. I mean, it was a broom closet, literally a broom closet. I went through 4 stations over an 11-year period down in Miami with the hope of getting back to New York. But over those years, you and I kept in touch. You kept putting me on the list, not the numbers I'm at now, but still put me on the list, which I think helped me too. So you've always been a big cheerleader of mine, and I appreciate that. You don't have to be that. Again, you've got a long career working with a lot of radio greats. So with all that said, Michael, tell me what later on today at Hofstra is really all about.
Basically, in a nutshell, radio is facing a crossroads as to which direction it wants to go as the technology changes. Everything in the world, including your refrigerator, has a computer screen on it. Radio, the theater of the mind, is basically designed to be an audio medium. So what is the future of an audio medium in a world that everybody is obsessed with screens? So radio is facing the challenge of keeping its essence, its vibe, its art form, its aesthetic. That's the word I was looking for. Keeping that alive into the 21st century, which we're deeply into at this point, without falling behind and being too analog, too 20th century. How do you get into the 21st century with a very special platform that radio is and not become archaic? And that's the challenge. And I would say, we're going to be talking about a lot of issues: credibility, justice, truth, the financial end of talk radio and media. But the most important thing we're facing is the existential issue of what is radio going to evolve in as the days and the months and the years go by and still remain that wonderful, magical art form, that wonderful, iconic community, grassroots, person-to-person medium that radio has always been. What do you think, Sid? What do you think is the future of radio?
I think it's alive and well. I've been hearing for years. I've been doing this now for 28 years. And every couple of years, I keep hearing the same thing, especially AM radio. You're dead. You're finished. It's over. It's over. Sirius XM came along, and most of the folks that work there are out of work and not making a living. I think radio is still the most intimate, most entertaining, and most enjoyable form of media today. You get on TV, you got 6 minutes. They put the words right in front of you on a teleprompter. There's nothing authentic or original about it. Radio is still the best. And I'll tell you something. A couple of weeks ago, I had Trump back on the show. Nobody has Trump on more than me except for Hannity. And he was on for 46 minutes. And we discussed all the major issues: Iran, Israel, the economy, the midterms. But we spent quite a bit of time talking about this. You're going to love this, Michael. AM radio. My boss here, John Katsimatidis, who's also on your list, he does 2 great shows at this station. He has been working really hard the last couple of years to make sure that AM radio does not go away. When I told Trump on this show less than 3 weeks ago that they're trying to get rid of it, he was furious. He said, I'm not going to let that happen. He goes, Sid, I stopped it my first time around in 2017, 2018. I'm going to stop it again. So maybe we're old-timers, right? It's not like me, Trump and Katsimatidis are in our 30s. Well, there's a whole generation of people who realize how important radio is, including AM radio.
Oh, no doubt. AM radio is very valuable as an art form and as a utility. It covers both grounds, which is what radio is. I do want to say that John Katsimatidis is a hero in the industry. And he's a rare kind of a talent, the CEO of a major company. He's got other businesses that are even bigger than the radio business, and yet he finds time not only to invest significant money in a local New York iconic radio station, but he also is a talent. It's like a guy that owns, a chain of restaurants and works behind the counter, slicing pastrami. It's an amazing thing. I do want your listeners to know, because listeners get spoiled and don't always realize what they got. I want people to realize that what you're doing in the morning and what the rest of the folks at WABC are doing is rare. You don't have that everywhere anymore, where you're experiencing radio from a station that's a cultural center with a vibe and an attitude and camaraderie among the people on it and their listeners. Stuff, that I grew up with that is certainly pertinent going forward. And the kind of show that you're doing, the dynamic radio show that you're doing every day, as I said, you're at the peak of your career. The listeners might take that for granted. And in this world, between John Catsimatidis holding radio up and pushing it forward and you performing it on the ultimate level, I hope the listeners in the world that listen to you online understand what a treat they have, and they should support it and hope that not only it continues, that it inspires other broadcasters as well.
Well, that's nice of you to say thank you. And I agree, John is terrific on so many levels, and he and I are very, very, very close, and he does a great job with us here at WABC. He's a terrific guy. And on the way out, look, I've got a kind of a map in my head of how I want the show to go every day, a procedure, and in terms of what I want to talk about. And I still maintain this. Look, do I talk about events all over the world? Sure I do. I mean, I'm going back to Israel in 2 weeks. I've had dinners and lunches and long conversations in Jerusalem with Bibi Netanyahu. I'm going to see him again in 2 weeks. I have the President of the United States on this show every couple of months, Secretary of State Marco Rubio. But I don't lose sight of the fact that I'm in New York City. So, for example, this week, the Knicks and Spurs, your local basketball team in the NBA Finals, with the first chance at winning a Finals in 53 years, that becomes center stage. I've got a mayor that the whole world is talking about, a governor that's no good with a dear buddy of mine running against her. So my philosophy has always been, when you're doing a show like this, and Imus had the same philosophy. His son now, Wyatt Imus, listens to me every morning. From their ranch, the Imus Ranch in Texas, Wyatt Imus listens to me every morning because he's still a New York guy. But you have to, if you're in a city, a major city or a small one, you have to maintain that local presence. When you start to drift away from that, that's when you'll notice the ratings are not going to be the same.
There's no question. Fortunately, New York City is interesting to the world, and the world is interesting to New York City. It's not provincial like many cities where they don't care about anywhere else. They're totally hung up on their own history and their own culture. They don't like outsiders. New York is a melting pot. It's a great place to do any kind of radio, and certainly talk radio. So you're absolutely right.
Michael, it's fun doing the show here. There's no question. It's going to be fun seeing you out at Hofstra later on today again. You talk about heroes of radio. You mentioned John Catsimatidis, and I'm not patronizing you. I'm really not. You really are a hero of radio. What you do daily with Talkers Magazine, what you do with this conference coming up later on today in New York and around the country can never be overstated. So, Michael Harrison, I love you. I always have. Look forward to seeing you later on this afternoon from my little panel. And thank you so much for everything you do. You're a terrific guy.
Thank you so much, Sid. Good luck to you. Talk to you soon.
See you soon. There he is, Michael Harrison, Talkers Magazine. And I'll be seeing Michael later on today. This huge event. They do a terrific job. Hofstra University, Bruce Blakeman, York County in Nassau County. I'll take a short break.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Well, I've been a Knicks fan for a long time, and I'm also a Jim Dolan fan. He's a nice guy, okay? He's been a long time wanting to win, and he's a competitive guy, and he's got a team that's amazing. I don't think they've lost a playoff game. Can you imagine that? And it was not looking good. I saw the beginning of the game, and it wasn't looking good. I missed the middle because I talked to generals all night long now. But I watched that end of the game, and they were dominant. Really amazing. And Wemby's a great player. He's going to be a great player, and he is already a great player. I say, how do you guard this guy? 7'5", and he's got a great shot, right? But they find a way to do it. They're really great. They're a great team. And I'm happy for Jim, because Jim has really been fighting hard to, produce such a team. So you never know. The answer is yes, he's invited me. I'm going.
Again, if God is good to me, I'll be 60 this April, 60. And I've followed basketball for over 5 decades. I saw a lot of great teams, all right? Not the Bill Russell teams, but all the Magic teams in Los Angeles, the Bird teams in Boston, the Curry teams in Golden State. I know I'm missing a whole bunch of other dynasties, but point being, I've seen all these great teams. I've never seen anything like this. I can't believe it's my Knicks. That's right, my Knicks. Not Kathy Hochul's Knicks. Not Mamdani's Knicks. Mamdani will be in the building Monday, too. But he'll be somewhere in the nosebleeds probably with that moron Jamani Williams or who knows who. I don't know. Trump will be in Dolan's box with Bruce Blakeman and hopefully me, which does bring me to one of my favorite guests. I love this lady. I really do. She's great on Fox News. She's amazing with me. She's worked for 4 presidents in her lifetime, including most recently President Trump. She's one of my most enthusiastic supporters in this potential endeavor to run for mayor. It's my dear friend KT McFarland, and I did it, KT. I didn't want to, but I couldn't control myself. Late last night, coming home from the city after a late TV appearance, I texted President Trump and asked him if I can come to the game and be with him Monday night in the box. I know it's embarrassing. I know it is, but I took a shot. What can I tell you?
Did he get right back to you? He doesn't go to bed until about 2 in the morning.
I know. That's why I figured I'd text him about 11 o'clock. And he texts me often, like you said, around midnight. He texts a lot of people we both know at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. But he did not get back to me.
I've been on the receiving end of those.
Yeah, but he didn't get back to me, so odds are I'm not going to be there. But I had to give it a shot, right, KT?
Well, come on. He probably has to ask Mr. Dolan, don't you think?
Yes, it's exactly what I said this morning. Like, if he has a rally, he has Sid to speak. That's his deal. But you're right. This is Dolan's building. Dolan invited him. But if, like, Bruce Blakeman is coming, if Trump says, hey, Bruce, take Sid with you, I don't think Dolan's going to say no, but I don't know. It's not going to happen. I couldn't control myself. So.
I think you should. Well, we'll see what he says. President Trump, as you know, he's a very gracious man. And he's very good about making sure other people get included in things. And it's not all about him, even though that's the reputation he has. But I'm sure he probably didn't want to text Dolan at 2 o'clock in the morning. He's probably going to wait. Yeah. And he's probably got to talk to his Secret Service guys. Although, when you think about the Secret Service issues, what was the last game that the Knicks played at Madison Square Garden where there were like 150,000 people in the streets?
Yes.
With big jumbotrons?
Yeah.
Out on the street.
I know, it's a mess.
What a nightmare. Yeah.
No, it's a mess. I mean, forgetting about the game they played there, when they're playing on the road in San Antonio tonight and the win on Wednesday, they still sell out the Garden. They actually show the game in Madison Square Garden, so the Knicks are in Texas, but you can go to the Garden and watch the game, and when they win, the party spills out to the streets. And I got to tell you, KT, I don't like what I'm seeing. A lot of arrests after the Game 1 win, a bunch of kids all drugged up and drunk that they don't watch the Knicks in November. They don't watch the Knicks in December. Just like Mamdani, he's not watching the Knicks and the Trailblazers like I am in November. Kathy Hochul doesn't watch a Knick game all year, but now everybody is enjoying this. It's New York. It's our team, even though they don't root for the team all year long, and they're getting out of control. I don't want this city to look like Detroit after the Pistons won. They set the city on fire. Or Los Angeles, after the Lakers won, they set that city on fire. I don't want us to look like that because if we win, KT, we are looking at a very real possibility of 3 million or more Canyon of Heroes. That could be a mess.
Well, you know what? What has it been, 37 years?
Since we won?
How many?
53 years. 53.
Oh, no, really? But how many years have we got to the finals?
Oh, that would be 27 years, yes.
27, yeah, because I've got a 35-year-old son, and he's been sleeping in a Knicks T-shirt, a Knicks shirt jersey since he was 5 years old. And I know that I've been buying those Knicks jerseys for at least 20-some years.
I love it. I love it. I do want to move to Iran for a second. You and I have these great conversations every week, and I've been pretty steadfast when I keep saying to you, I think we're stuck. I think we're not winning. I think we're in a bad spot. And, more and more people are starting to sound like me in the media. I did see General Jack Keane this morning.
Yeah.
And he said, there's not going to be a deal with Iran. There's not going to be a deal. Write it down now because A, they cheat. They never comply. B, they're not going to agree to a bunch of the things that the president wants. C, we can't give them any money because they've proven you do that. They just fund terror proxies. And so he was flat. There's not going to be a deal with Iran. I've been saying that really, as you know, for the better part of 5 or 6 weeks. And I think that's starting to become more of the conventional wisdom. What do you think?
Yes, I think you're right that they'll cheat, that you can't trust them. But expand your periscope for a bit and look at the bigger region. What Trump's doing behind the scenes, and this is what nobody's really focused on, he's rearranging the architecture of the Middle East. It's not just about Iran and Israel. It's about all the Gulf Arab countries. It's about the stands, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, Tajikistan. It's a bigger region. In the same way that the Gaza peace accords and the Gaza peace plan involved not just the countries in the region, but countries as far away as Pakistan. So I think what he's looking to do now is that the Gulf Arabs are saying to him, look, if you attack, we'd like it. We'd love Iran and the regime washed off the face of the earth, but we don't want this to become a bigger conflict that draws us in. So I think what Trump is doing is lining up all of the Gulf Arabs. He's already got UAE, he's already got Bahrain, but he wants to get Saudi Arabia. He wants to get Kuwait. Remember, they just bombed Kuwait yesterday. So Kuwait, which has been sitting on the fence, well, now they're getting bombed by the Iranians. So where are they going to jump? They're going to jump to us. And the bigger picture of this is an alliance that is an expanded Abraham Accords alliance, which is Israel, the United States, the Gulf Arab countries, all of the Gulf Arab countries, even other countries, Muslim countries beyond the Gulf region. And that means that there's a peace that they all recognize each other, which, a lot of those countries don't yet recognize Israel officially, but then they all trade. And the Abraham Accords, the beauty of the Abraham Accords is they started out as a trading deal, an economic deal, a commercial deal, a trade deal between Israel and some of the Gulf Arab countries. And it was wildly successful. They all know, everybody in the region knows how successful that has been, especially for the UAE. So if that can be expanded to all these other countries in a bigger picture, that trading relationship then becomes a security relationship. I mean, if you and I had had this conversation a year ago, and I said, "Oh, Sid, guess what? There are going to be Israeli soldiers in the UAE operating the Iron Dome to protect the Gulf Arabs."
True.
From Iran, we would have laughed.
Yep.
So no, there'll never be that alliance. But I think that's where President Trump is looking. He always thinks big, and he always thinks bigger than just the immediate issue. I think that's why he hasn't jumped in with a military response. He can always do the military response, but I think he wants to get all those other guys on board first.
I agree. And I had Miranda Devine on this show yesterday, and she was talking about her conversation, her terrific podcast, Pot Boss One with Trump. Yeah, you saw that. And
great interview with him, too.
It was great. And specifically the content about the Trump Bibi dust-up, when Trump said, "Are you up and crazy, Bibi? This is why people hate you. This is why. What are you doing? You're killing me here." And, I never thought for a second that he didn't say that, because I know for a fact, and I'm going to see Bibi. Yeah, of course. I'm going to see Bibi in 2 weeks in Israel.
They get a little spicy with each
right,
other.
that's the point. The media wants you to believe that because Trump cursed them out, and he did, trust me, he did, because he cursed them out, they don't like each other, the U.S. is sick of Israel. It's nonsense, right?
It's nonsense. I mean, I've been in the Oval Office with him when he has been a little spicy, shall we say, with other leaders. He only does that with leaders he thinks well of.
True.
He doesn't say that. He doesn't say to some of the ones that he may disparage otherwise. He doesn't say to them in spicy language the kind of stuff that he said to Bibi. And he certainly doesn't say it to leaders who has a more formal relationship. He's not going to say that to the Chinese president.
No.
Because it's not a relationship that's like that.
Right.
He's not going to say that to Putin, but he can say it to Bibi, and Bibi probably gives back as good as he gets.
Oh, he does. He would say it to Zelensky. He did say yesterday that it would be in the best interest of Putin and Zelensky to actually meet each other. You see that happening?
Yeah.
You do? You think they will?
Yeah.
All right, let me ask you about Cuba. One of our local congresswomen, she's terrific, out of Staten Island and Brooklyn, Nicole Maliotakis.
Oh, yeah, she is awesome, yeah.
And she's part Cuban, as you know, KT. So she's furious because you remember when Chris Van Hollen went to visit the alleged gang member? Remember that? In El Salvador? Yeah. So these Democrats go down to Cuba and they treat these people who are terrible people. They're destroying the everyday Cuban. They treat them like they're kings, like they're royalty. Long story short, what's going to happen with Cuba?
I think that the deals are already in place. As President Trump said, we want to finish the Iran thing, and then we're going to go on our way back. The Armada is going to go to Cuba. The leaders of Cuba, the guys who are nominally running things, the corrupt, incompetent communists, if they don't leave, they get snatched and be charged for many crimes. But the next level down, the younger people, the people that Marco Rubio is talking to on a regular basis, the deal's there. There are already people eyeing how they can move, especially Cuban Americans are looking to how can I go back to Cuba? I'd like to start businesses. I want to invest. I want to do trade. The people of Cuba want that to happen. It's just these sort of old, corrupt, it's like the final days of the Soviet Union, those old, corrupt communists that are incompetent and they don't know how to stand out of their way. So they either have the Maduro solution or they, find a nice Swiss bank account somewhere.
Final 60 seconds. Based on your advice, I have reached out to the Spencer Pratt social media team. But I got to tell you, I'm getting nervous. I asked a couple of people, I said, is this going to be over Tuesday night? Election day was Tuesday. They said, yeah. Now it's Friday. And now Hilton is falling back. Maybe Becerra even overtakes him at number 1. It looks like this psycho DSA Nithya is catching up to Pratt at number 2. We are looking, I guess, once again, at a crooked cheat in the state of California.
That's what President Trump said. He said yesterday, and this is an aside in his press conference. He said, "Are you watching that? They're going to steal that. Those Democrats are going to steal it."
Yeah.
And, they're going to all of a sudden mysteriously find thousands of ballots stuck away in a mailroom somewhere, and I think they will try to steal it.
Well, of course they are.
Boy, that'll be the legal case of the century, won't it? If they try to steal it from Hilton and from Spencer Pratt.
It'll be huge, and they're going to try. It may be a little too big to rig because...
I think they're too big to rig.
Yeah, me too. They're up like 9 or 10 points, but now it's down to 5 or 6. Either way, KT McFarland, I couldn't love you more than I do. You're so great. We love you here on Fridays. Have yourself a great weekend, and we look forward to doing it again next week. Thank you so much.
Talk to you next week. Thanks.
Bye, sweetheart. KT McFarland, right here on Sid and Friends in the morning, and how lucky are we to have her on this show every week. Take a break. We still have, we got 4 more great guests still to come before I hand the football off to Brian Kilmeade at 10. One of those guests, ironically, is Brian Kilmeade. He's here.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
We'll be in your show plenty because you have a great show and you have big ratings, Sid. I don't even know if you know how good your show is, okay? But you have big ratings and you have a great show and you've been my friend for a long time and I appreciate it.
I tell Gene to jump in like 5 times every morning to some song that he's not even listening
just
to.
Just random, ridiculous things yelling. It's funny, but
it's not funny because I think, and I know people get upset when I use this word, but I do think that I'm somewhat retarded.
No, you got some level of that, man.
I got something going on. I don't know.
Singing then like. Luke, jump in. Can I call you this? Can I call you that? Can I call you both? What? I don't know what was that important or not.
I don't know.
That's the thing you got to do.
Justin, and then once we get into the studios, Justin gets a full hour of that before the show starts in our production room.
I run into my studio and shut the door as fast.
Oh, it's just constantly sing it. No, can't sing it. No, sing it. No.
While you're putting the acting together.
No. How does it go again? I don't know.
And then random questions that don't mean anything.
No, they mean absolutely nothing.
Right.
They don't mean anything.
I hear them.
Right.
And he times it perfully like, okay, here, I got to do something right behind me. Look, I think we're going to end with it. Can I? He's shaking my shoulder, and Noam is cueing me. And
I've learned to tune it out, though. You can do selective hearing.
I listen to you tune it out.
Yeah,
he
does.
Funny.
He's good at it. Lou's good at it, too.
Oh, my God.
But, I'm going to stop one of these days. I don't know if I could do it without medication.
Yeah, okay, sure you will.
I'm going to try to stop.
No,
okay?
one morning it's going to be without the shirt on in the back. And then I'm going to say, no.
We may do that.
I'll hitch.
I just spoke to our dear Hall of Fame friend, the star over at WFAN, their afternoon show, and, of course, the Fox Sports 1 podcast host, Craig Carton. And I really believe this because I still love Christopher Mad Dog Russo, but he's on Sirius XM. So he's not terrestrial radio anymore. Dog is also part of that ESPN crew with our good buddy Stephen A. Smith, who I found out will be at the Barrett Conference coming up this summer. But in terms of terrestrial radio, and Mike Francesa is off the air too, because he's doing the Bet Rivers podcast, and Beningo does just one day a week. So in terms of terrestrial radio, I feel very confident in saying this, and trust me, I know radio better than anybody, and I'm better at it than anybody. Craig Carton's the best in the business. At this point, Craig Carton is the most entertaining. I don't care whether he knows every single play from the Ice Bowl, and I hear that all the time. Doesn't know nothing about it. He knows plenty, okay? but he's an amazing entertainer. He knows radio. He's great. So he will join us Monday before Game 3 when President Trump and the Knicks will be at Madison Square Garden. We'll do Craig on Monday. We will talk to Dick Jerardi coming up later on this morning. He has been the voice of the big horse races for about 45 years. Think about that, 45 years. So whether it's the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, or tomorrow, we will run the 158 Belmont Stakes up in Saratoga. The Belmont track will be ready next year. So Saratoga, I've been invited by Keith Kantrowitz. I love him. Mark Oranger, all those guys to go. I'm not going to make it. I'm going to be at a dinner instead with Mike Lawler in Rockland County honoring Lee Zeldin. But thank you, Keith. And the big one, the Belmont tomorrow, we'll talk to Dick Jerardi. He'll give you three horses that you can go win, place, and show with. We'll also talk to the border czar, Tom Homan. He's coming up. That's a huge guest. But coming up next, our colleague and buddy right here at WABC. He's also on not one but two great shows on television, Fox News, weekday mornings on Fox and Friends, and his own great show, One Nation, 10 p.m. on Sunday nights. I was just on that show last week. Our buddy Brian Kilmeade.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
So as I told you at the very top of the show, I was back in the city late last night. I was invited by Katie Pavlich to appear on her show, Katie Pavlich Tonight. It's the late one, up against Gut Bell, 10 o'clock on News Nation. She invited me in to speak specifically about this 27-year-old Jewish lady who was assaulted on the subway, assaulted by some psycho black lady who talked about how Jews are eating children as she was pulling this girl's hair out. You can't even make this stuff up. And, of course, Mom Donnie, God ever created, no matter what Trump says, I'm tired of that already. I love you, President Trump, but stop. You're embarrassing yourself at this point. He's not a nice guy, Mom Donnie. He's not a good guy. He's a lowlife. So he said nothing. But what's funny is talking about Trump on the way to the city late last night. This is like 10 o'clock last night. I send President Trump a text. And I say, hey, buddy, I know you're going to be in town on Monday night for Game 3 of the NBA Finals as the Knicks get set to take on San Antonio tonight in a Game 2, running a 12-game postseason winning streak. I go, I know Bruce Blakeman's going to be there. I spoke to Bruce yesterday. And is there any chance, Mr. President, that I can join you in Dolan's suite? He's not going to be sitting on the court. That's been decided already. There's no way they can protect him, so he'll be in Dolan's suite going through a back entrance and all that type of thing. So I'm still waiting for President Trump to get back to me on that. I'm not going to hold my breath, okay? But I think I did hear that my man, who follows me each and every weekday morning here on 77 WABC at 10 o'clock, also part of that Fox and Friends crew, and his own amazing show I was just on last Sunday, One Nation on Fox News. My guy Brian Kilmeade will also be in the building Monday night for a Game 3 between the Knicks and the Spurs. Let's find out. Brian Kilmeade, can you confirm or deny Game 3 Monday night? You're going to be there.
Right, and I'm surprised the president going has overwhelmed the move that I'm going. You know, for a morning show host to go to the game and for the president to steal my thunder, it really hurts. And for you to ask, I'm not in a box. So I just said, my son's a huge Knicks fan. He asked for very little at this point in his life, and he just said, can we go to one of these games? And the first time we went to a game, he was 3 years old, and it was Michael Jordan's comeback with the Wizards. It was the same day as George Bush, with a bulletproof vest, went to Yankee Stadium after 9/11 and threw that perfect pitch. And they go, Brian, which one do you want to cover, Jordan's comeback or the president at Yankee Stadium? And I just knew my son wanted to go. And I go, you know what? I'm gonna choose the Madison Square Garden. And that was the first Knicks game we went to. So we have a long history of frustrating years. Like in his lifetime, they've only got to, he was born in 96. So in his lifetime, he's really never seen this type of run. So I go, you know what? We got to go. And it's cost a ton. So we remortgaged the house. You just got to finish out the paperwork later on today. Even at 6% interest rate, it's certainly worth it. So I just want to go there. But the president's move, him going, is bigger news. Mondami's going to be there, too. Do you believe that?
Oh, he goes to every game. He sits up in the nosebleeds with Jamani Williams, and, he goes to the Garden like he'll be there tonight for the watch party. And it's a constant annoyance for me because I'm a sports guy. So are you. All right, I worked at WFAN of my 28-year radio career. Yeah, I spent 16 years doing sports, so I know who the real sports fans are. And to see Kathy Hochul do a video with the former city council speaker Adrian Adams wearing Knick T-shirts. Yes, the same Kathy Hochul that thinks the Knicks won a championship in 1993. That's a joke. And Mamdani, too. I mean, give me a break. You really think that Mamdani knows anything about this basketball team before Patrick Ewing or between Patrick Ewing and these guys? So what I'm noticing is all of a sudden...
He was in Uganda.
I know. Everybody all of a sudden in New York is a Knick fan. Even these young punky kids who caused all kinds of trouble, a bunch of arrests outside Madison Square Garden after Game 1. You think those kids are watching the Knicks and the Trailblazers in November? I am. You think they are?
And plus, you got to get up at 3 a.m. and you're still watching.
Right.
No, I don't think they are. No, of course not. But do you think, Sid, if they're to win, if they do win this, and it's a long way off, you and I also know sports, and does anyone think this is locked up? Even if they win tonight, I don't think it's locked up. But having said that, if they do win it, do you think they burn the city like they just did in Paris when their club team just won, the PSG just won the Champions League? Do you think they burn the city like they do in Detroit?
I got to tell you, those are the signs. And let's not forget, okay, the Yankees draw just over 2 million people in the Canyon of Heroes when they win. It's been 17 years, but over 2 million. But don't forget, the Yankees, they split the city with the Mets. Same thing with the Jets and the Giants. They split the city. Rangers and Islanders, kind of. But there is no splitting the city in basketball. Everybody is a Knick fan outside of my friend Evan Roberts at the Fan. There are no Brooklyn Net fans in New York. So the Knicks don't split the city. So if the Knicks win the championship, forget about 2.2 million. You're going to get 3 million people. And the way the fans have been acting outside Madison Square Garden the last couple of weeks, yeah, we're starting to look like Detroit. We're starting to look like Los Angeles when the Lakers won the championship, and that is very unfortunate for New York City. But I said this last night. You know what that is, Brian? That is a reflection of the mayor, because this city is so chaotic under this mayor who's completely okay with 5,000 or 6,000 pro-Hamas animals roaming our streets, that the kids, the garden, it's all taking on the look of a chaotic city led by a mayor who's got no control.
Sid, it's going to be up to you. This is your first test. I want you, because you're thinking about running, I want you to call on, and if it is 3-0 and we're looking at a sweep next week, I think you should call on the city to not overreact. This would be your first time. You say first, do it for me. Do not burn anything. Don't throw a bike rack. Don't go after a cop. Don't explode a car. You didn't win. You watched. So don't blow anything up.
I think I'm going to do that. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. It's a good idea. That'll really get me going for this campaign. Although our mutual friend Katie McFarland said to me a couple of weeks ago, she was on this morning, she said, Sid, you really should run, all kidding aside. And what you should do is really, really watch the Spencer Pratt campaign out in Los Angeles. He's a reality TV star. You're a radio guy. Neither one of you have political experience, she said. But as a lady that's worked for 4 presidents, 4, including President Trump, he's going to be great if he ends up beating Karen Bass. He said, you'd be great, too. So that was McFarland's advice. Take a good look at Spencer Pratt's campaign and his social media people. But on a serious note, the numbers are still not back yet in California, whether it's Pratt for mayor or Hilton for governor. Are you surprised?
Yeah, but if you look at what they do, they mail ballots to everybody. That's a pandemic thing they should have gotten rid of. And then they wait. If it's post-dated before the election, they count it. So they give it a week to come in. What are you doing? Why is that okay? Even if you're a Democrat, it's a Democratic-run city, Democrat against Democrat. Why would you want that? Why would you want that? I mean, you want people voting? Do you have any interest in voting integrity? So it's just crazy, and this highlights it again. Now, Florida fixed it. You're in Florida. They were the laughing stock of the country. Now they're the best. The best. They count their absentee ballots ahead of time. They tell you by 10 o'clock at night who won everything. So why in California do they want this? So it's embarrassing. And listen, I hear that this ramen is closing the gap. So can you imagine if for some crazy reason the latest surge has Hilton dropped to third and Spencer Pratt dropped to third? Can you imagine that outrage?
Oh, that would be awful, although she's still, I think, about 7 points behind. She went from 9 to 7. She's not closing the gap all that much. But you're right. It could still happen where Pratt could fall into third.
Let me just tell you, we weren't watching it close, but Rick Caruso on Election Day beat Karen Bass. A week later, he lost by 10.
No, I know.
So,
you don't know.
Yeah.
You just don't know with California. You just don't know. So we'll be watching that. I think another big story here is, we just saw 4 Republicans screw President Trump in a bill last week, right? Now we're seeing it again. What normal, decent American does not want the Save America Act? But here we go again. It's the same idiots. Maybe it's not Rand Paul, maybe it's not Thomas Massey, but it's the same idiots. Susan Collins,
Mitch McConnell,
Lisa Murkowski, Tom Tillis. 4 Republicans break, and they go against Trump's bill here for the Save America Act. The Republicans are killing us, Brian Kilmeade, time and time again.
They got to hold the Senate and hold the House, and Mitch McConnell will be gone, Tillis will be gone, Cassidy will be gone. I hope Collins is there. Actually, she's the best hope. Collins is there, but I don't understand what Mitch McConnell's doing. I guess he doesn't want to federalize elections. I know fundamentally it is, but look at some of these. Just make these through lines. Everyone's got to have an ID, right? You got to have 2 forms ID to sign up. I mean, I can't get in my building. I can't get to WABC without an ID. Everyone has ID. 80% of the country, Democrats and Republicans want ID. They're just into this ideological thing of, well, that's every state should run their own thing. No, it's not okay, because every state controls who the president is. So I think that along the way, we should do what 80% of the American people want, voter ID, because I don't care who wins. I just want the right person to win. And my analogy, I think I might have told you, is the instant replay. So, look, instant replay could cost your team the game. I just want the right call. So if voter ID hurts Republicans, so be it. And the president should say that. I just want the real winner to be the winner. That's why we have VNRs. That's why they put a chip in the soccer ball for the World Cup. They want to see if the ball's over the line. They want to take it out of the referee's hands. They're doing it in football. They're doing it in baseball with cold strikes. Can we just do it in our election?
I love that. And by the way, folks, the reason why Brian just said he wants Susan Collins to win, because honestly, she's horrible. She's horrible. But if she doesn't win, that means that Plattner would win in Maine, and that's the last thing this country needs, because he's a really bad guy. The Democrats are running really terrible people all over the country. You mentioned the World Cup, and we'll wrap this up. My buddy Anthony Carone contacted me yesterday, and he said to me, he goes, hey, listen, I got some of these games if you want to go. So, for example, Bill O'Reilly's assistant, Makeda, she's a lovely lady. She's been asking me for weeks for tickets to France and Senegal. I got them for her. And I've been offered one of 2 games, so I want you, Brian Kilmeade, to tell me which of these 2 games I should take my son Gabriel to. June 13th, Morocco versus Brazil, or June 17th, England versus Croatia. Which one?
Oh, England, Croatia. I mean, anytime you watch Brazil play, it'll be great because the fans get it. It's going to be, you can't go wrong with either game, but in terms of a tight game, that's going to be a tight game. So I think that either one you can't go wrong. This is what I love about the World Cup. For people like you that, just a sport, you're open to it, but you're not against it, not for it, you'll see the atmosphere of a World Cup game. It's not like the MLS. The MLS is fine. I love those guys. I had 2 players I coached to play in the MLS. I'm going to his wedding tonight.
Wow.
And I was there for the launch in 97. I was doing sideline for the Metro Stars. I did play-by-play for the Big East. So it's cool. I'm fine with it. But it's not like what you see. When you see the World Cup game, you're going to walk out and go, now I get it. Because the atmosphere is, the fans are a bigger story than the actual team. And the players actually know it. Because the players got their window of 6-7 years, and they're done. These fans, this is their life. And I think when our conversations in 2 weeks are going to be all about soccer.
I believe it. I'm actually into it already. So, again, I'm going to take Gabriel to one of these games, and we're both looking forward to it. And here we go. Less than 2 weeks away, we've got World Cup soccer, 8 big games right here in New Jersey. Okay, we are 2 days away I was on your great show last Sunday night. Again, I had a fantastic time. It was so great. Who's coming up in 2 days?
Yeah,
on
you did
One
great.
Nation?
Our ratings were great, Our ratings were great, and the demo, because young people love you. So 18 to 34 was through the roof.
Right.
So I'm going to have Kristen Sinema. I want to talk about what happened at the Democratic Party. I just, this whole socialist thing, the Plattner situation, the AOC, the Bernie Sanders, the Kingmaker, what happened to her party. She's also an AI expert, and find out why all these graduating seniors are booing at commencement addresses with AI. I'm fascinated by it. That's one thing I don't see as political, just practical. Elise Stefanik's going to be with us. You love her. She loves you. Believe it or not, there's some signs in education. There's some signs in education that they were standing up. A guy tried to grab a Palestinian flag, and he got thrown off the stage. A commencement speaker started going rogue. They stopped. They cut the mic. Are people starting to wake up in education? And Billy Bush is going to be with us, and Joe Concha is going to be on. So, and Craig Carton is going to break down the World Cup and the Knicks Spurs.
Wow, that's a huge
that'll
show.
be so. Yeah. So it'll be fun. Sunday at 10 o'clock. And don't forget, coming up, October 17th in Westbury, Long Island, in the round. Sid will be out there. BrianKilmeade.com, streamed on Fox Nation. The Uniting the States Tour. My book comes out in October, and it's going to be another reason to feel patriotic, inspired, and motivated. So to put it all together in a great live show.
It's exciting. What a big weekend you got coming ahead. The big show, your show Sunday night, Monday at the Knicks game with your son. Very exciting couple of days. So usually you ask me this question, but with you doing all this great stuff, including that big show in October, maybe you should take your own advice, Brian Kilmeade, damn it, and you stay within yourself.
Thank you, Sid. Sometimes you need to hear your own beliefs played back to you. You're right. You know what this means? Almost no sleep.
I get it. Trust me. Kilmeade, you're great. I love you. You really are great. Thank you so much, man. Have a great weekend.
All right. Go get him, and I'll see you in Dolan's box on Monday night. I'll look up to you and give you the thumbs up sign. I know he's going to call you. See you later, Sid.
Let's hope so, Brian. Thank you very much. There he is, the great Brian Kilmeade. Does an amazing job following me each and every weekday morning here on 77 WABC at 10 o'clock. Part of that great trio on Fox and Friends on Fox News every morning, as we just talked about, his own great show. 10 p.m. Sunday nights, it is One Nation. The Friday edition of Sid and Friends in the morning rolls on.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
I toured the whole facility. Is it a 5-star resort? No. But is it a well-run detention facility? Yes. And I'll say it again. I've said this throughout the last year and a half. We have the highest detention standards in the industry. Look, I went to the facility myself, and one of the things I heard was, the food was terrible. I made an unannounced visit there on Saturday. I sat down in the cafeteria with the detainees and ate the same meal they ate. And again, was it a 5-star cuisine? No, but it was spaghetti and meat sauce. It was green beans. It was charred beans. It was a butter and bread. It was fruit drinks. It was a dessert that I didn't eat, but the spaghetti was good. And I'm a pretty big guy, and I didn't finish the meal. I couldn't finish the meal. So, I saw it for myself. So I think a lot of this is based on, people in detention will make accusations because they don't want to be in detention. And there was never a hunger strike. This whole started about people being on hunger strike. There was never a hunger strike because the few people who didn't eat in the cafeteria were getting food from the commissary. So they were eating. So again, putting out false information because their goal is, and they've said it, the governor said it, the mayor said it, this is about shutting down that facility, and the politicians on the Hill, it's about abolishing ICE.
He's the best. He liked the spaghetti. That's good. But here's a guy that has been fighting for our border security and safety in this country forever. He's a legitimate, he's not going to say this, but I will. He's a legitimate American hero. He is. So I'm thrilled to have him back on the program, my good buddy Tom Homan. Tom, good morning, buddy. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you. So was it marinara sauce, or what exactly was on the spaghetti?
It was a meat sauce. It was a ground beef tomato sauce.
Fantastic. I mean, I'm laughing, but I'm not really. I just, listen, and we'll get to New York in a little while, but this governor this Mikey Muhammad Cheryl. I call her Mikey Muhammad Cheryl. She walks around, Tom, New Jersey, like every day is Ramadan, dressed like an Arab. I don't get it. And she goes to mosques and Passaic and all these types of things. And then you get the Newark mayor. And you said it. This has nothing to do with the food or the place. The place is fine. They just want to abolish ICE. So they lie every day. And like you said, you saw that firsthand this weekend, didn't you?
Yeah, I went up there, and I went up there for a few reasons. Number one, I wanted to see the facility for myself. Number two, I wanted to make sure this facility was hardened. So these violent protesters that attacked ICE officers could not make it into that facility. I've got to protect the detainees, got to protect the officers. So I went up there and, we added embassy fencing, Jersey barriers, additional lighting. We put more drones in the air. But, no one's going to get in that facility unless we let them in. And if they happen to somehow get in there, they're going to have a bad day because we have several special response teams waiting for them. So, we hardened the facility. I talked to the mayor. I talked to the governor. I talked to the police. I talked to the state troopers. And pretty much did the same thing I did in Minneapolis. Was, look, these street riots, that's not the job of immigration officers. That's your job. And they're shutting down roads. They're putting up illegal roadblocks. And they're not letting people, the truckers drive through. This is your job. And every time we call you for assistance, you don't come. So, we came up with an agreement, and they went down there, and they finally shut down the road. They finally, started letting traffic go through. And I asked them to protest. They want to protest, set up a protest area for them. And they did that. And so everything I asked for, they did. And now they're doing their job, but now they're threatening they're going to stop doing it. And, I hope they don't, because they don't. I tell you, I know a guy named President Trump that is not going to put up with it. If they can't control their streets, he will.
Oh, no doubt about it. And, I said this to President Trump on this show less than a month ago. It's going to sound awful. I admit it, Tom, but I don't care. You know me, I don't care. And I said that places like the Laney Hall in Newark, New Jersey, you know what Democrats really want? You know what they really want, Tom? They want the next Renee Good. Swear to God. They're almost hoping and praying that one of our officers, in an attempt to defend him or herself, kills one of them, because then they go yell and scream across the country what horrible people agents are and law enforcement people. I know it sounds awful, but I swear, Tom, I really believe in these riots that Democrats hope somebody dies. Is that too much?
No, I think they're looking for their moment, right? They think they're going to somehow, they want to create issues. They want to see chaos in the streets. They think that helps them in the midterms. And, I think the American people are smarter than that. I mean, we know that the people who cross that line who actually assault officers not even from that area. They're bussed in. They're paid protesters. And Fox News came out with a good thing yesterday, about the background of all this stuff, and they're right. I mean, bottom line is this is a coordinated effort to create chaos to turn the American people against this administration. And look, I told the mayor and I told the governor, I said, you know what? The best you can hope for is just, if this stuff don't quiet down, every illegal alien we arrest in the state of New Jersey, I'll fly to Texas and detain them there. And that, is that good for the migrant community? Moving away through families, moving away through attorneys, because when they're in the facility and they're going through proceedings, I have no problem with their family members coming for visitation. But if you're going to cause a ruckus like this on purpose to make up stories to try to get the detention facility shut down, I'll simply move the aliens to another state and detain them there. Because we're not going to stop arresting aliens. We're not going to stop detaining aliens. But that facility isn't going anywhere. That facility is going to stay there. And there's another reason why we're pushing for our own federally owned facilities. Everybody's raising hell about the warehouses. Well, this is one of the reasons we want the warehouses, because we're going to build federal warehouses on federal land, and these local politicians got nothing to say about it.
You know what I find interesting, Tom? This is the great border czar, Tom Homan. Good for you, by the way, Tom. Is I think that these psychos, and some of these people are family members, so they don't care how awful their family members are, what they've done. I mean, some of these people at the Laney Hall Detention Center, they've allegedly done some really bad things. I mean, the worst crimes. And you would think the way the media covers this and these Democrat politicians talk about it, You would think that these are innocent people. Wait a second, Tom. Last I checked, they're in this detention center because they did something illegal, right? Right?
Yeah, they're all in the country illegally. They're all being detained per law, per statute. And I mentioned the other day when I looked at the cases, many of these people in the facility aren't available to be released. They can't be released by federal law because they're either final orders or the criminal history does not allow to be released by federal law. So I told the governor, I told the mayor, I said, look, all these people, even if I wanted to release them, even if I said, you know what, let's just release them, I can't. It's illegal to release them. So we're detaining the right people for the right reasons, and we're going to keep doing that. New Jersey is no different than every other state that we're running operations on. Same thing's coming to New York. I had a meeting with Governor Hochul a couple months ago, and I told her if you sign this legislation and bar 287G agreements, we got a lot of 287G agreements in New York. We don't have a lot, but we got really big ones. If you stop our cooperation from the sheriffs and you don't let sheriffs rent me beds, same thing's going to happen. We want to send more agents to New York, and every alien we arrest will fly out of state. How is that good for anybody? I mean, I'll do it. I got no problem doing it. But she went ahead and signed the legislation, so, we'll be coming to New York.
Bottom line, right? I mean, she is, I got to tell you, she is so anti-ICE. And look, you know how much I love Trump. I know you're very close with the president. I'm close with the president, so I text him. And he says nice things about Mamdani, Tom, and I go crazy. And he says he's a nice guy. He said it again yesterday. He's a nice guy. He's not a nice guy. He's not. He hates the Jewish people. He hates the cops. He hates Christians. Unless you're a Muslim, he really has no use for you. He's not a nice guy. He's a bad guy. And he hates ICE. So both of these reprobates, the governor of this state and the mayor of this city, are on record saying, hey, Homan, F you. That's it. We're not working with ICE. She's already signed the governor anti-ICE legislation just 2 days ago, Tom. 2 days ago, Mamdani said it again. We're not working with ICE. She wants to take the masks off, right? She's okay with pro-Hamas people running up and down the streets in New York, Homan, wearing a mask. But your agents, she's willing to put their lives on the line and take their masks off. These are two terrible people in New York. So the question is this. Will there come a day, Tom Homan, and I thought it would happen with Gavin Newsom, will there come a day when you guys start to arrest, this is a serious question, these politicians that continue to get in our way of keeping our city safe?
DOJ is looking at assumed sanctuary policies. I think it's illegal what they're doing. I'm not an attorney. I'll leave it up to DOJ, but I can tell you lawsuits are being filed every day against sanctuary cities. I personally think that, in my career, let me explain this real quick. In my career, it's a felony to knowingly harbor or conceal an alien. I've prosecuted U.S. citizens when I was an agent for harboring an illegal alien in their home or in their place of business. So if you have an official that says you cannot go in that jail and talk to this illegal alien, and we know the illegal alien's in there because when they fingerprinted them, the prints go to NCIC. They automatically bounce against DHS databases. So we get a printout. Okay, illegal alien Tom Homan is in Homan County Jail right now. Now, if we go there and they don't let us in the jail, and we know he's in there, and we told them this person's illegal, we want to talk to him, if they don't let us in there, how is that not harboring?
It is.
So that's the question I posed to DOJ and Todd Blanche, and they're looking into it.
They are. Okay, good. And now Todd's got that job full time. He's no longer the interim AG, and it seems like he will do everything in his power to make sure that you and President Trump and America is safe. I think you're going to have to. Tom, are you a little surprised? And I know you've been doing this a long time, and you've dealt with all these animals. That's what they are. But are you a little surprised that they've remained that steadfast in their anti-ICE stature? They haven't, some of these Democrats haven't come around and, like, seeing the numbers in Minnesota. Yeah, we know what happened there. Okay, two people. But how about the thousands and thousands of really bad criminals, murderers, rapists, drug dealers that you guys took off the streets? Or the thousands of lost kids under Biden that you guys found? Didn't you think at some point that maybe some of these Democrats would come around?
You would hope, but look, their main focus is political power, right? Under Biden administration, they were silent. They were complicit. They didn't say a word about millions of people coming across that border being released into the United States, illegally, by the way. So they know millions of people being released in the United States. That wasn't an accident. That wasn't mismanagement. That wasn't incompetence. That was on purpose. Because millions of aliens go to sanctuary cities, and they think they're going to be future Democratic voters. That's what it's all about. That's all about future political power. And during the Biden administration, if you remember, he also overturned the Trump census rule. So illegal aliens will be counted in the census in all these sanctuary cities, which results in what? More seats in the House for the Dems. They know exactly what they're doing. And they're pissed off right now because when we're making record arrests, record deportations, we're ruining their long-term plan. So this isn't about immigration. This is about power. This is about them maintaining power at any cost. They'll sell out our national security. They'll sell out our border security. They'll sell out the men and women in law enforcement for future political power. That's what it's all about.
And you know this, Mayor. Look, I'll admit it, Tom. I'm biased because, I really hate him. I'm sorry. What could I tell you? It's not getting better. It's getting worse. And when I first learned about him was because of you, and I love you. You know how much I love you, Tom. And here you are up in Albany. I brought this up before. You're enjoying a nice Macintosh apple. And this lunatic, that's what he is. He's a lunatic, starts yelling in your face because, oh, my God, we're actually talking about deporting a man who's the face of campus terrorism. Happens to be one of his good buddies, this lowlife Mahmoud Khalil. He's yelling, what about his First Amendment? He was spitting in your face as you were trying to eat an apple. And he continues to really talk about you like you're nothing. Like you're nothing. So I'm not trying to piss you off. Maybe I am. But this guy, Mamdani, he continues to be really disrespectful, Tom, when it comes to you. Just so you know.
Yeah, I'm all aware of people like that. We got a lot in this country. They got one tire in the sand when it comes to manlyhood. And the bottom line is, when he ran into that day, I gave him no attention. I wasn't going to engage with him because that's what he wanted. He wanted that viral TV moment. And, he got it. Even though I ignored him, he got that moment. I heard he raised a lot of money on that.
He did.
So that was the setup. That was the plan for him. But look, Madami means nothing to me. I'm going to enforce the law in New York City, and he can't stop me. I'm going to enforce the law in New York State. She can't stop me. Federal law is always going to trump state law. And I got a great president I'm working for, and we're going to keep doing what the American people voted him in office to do. I'm not running a popularity contest. I know a lot of people in this country don't like me. I don't care. I wake up every day not caring because I know I'm doing the right thing for the American people. I lay my head in my pillow every night knowing I'm doing the right thing. We're saving lives. We're making this country safe again. So hate me all you want. I eat hate like candy.
So on the way out here, Tom, you're amazing. Tell me the border crossings, is it like 0%? I can't believe I'm saying this because, I remember when...
Zero illegal aliens have been released from the border in the last almost 12 months. Last year, zero illegal aliens been released by the Border Patrol.
You promised me in America, about me, but who am I? But you promised America, if Trump won, you were going to take this job back, which you have, and you were going to do this really quickly. And I would have to ask you to be honest here. Did you think it would be this quickly? I mean, in a couple of months, you guys had basically gotten that number down close to zero.
Yeah, they got men and women Border Patrol, with Patriots. They got it done in 7 weeks. In 7 weeks, we remember. Think about the Biden days. We're days we had 12,000 a day come to our border. I think yesterday we had 212 actually got to the border, and they're either directly turned around or arrested, detained, and going to be deported. So we went from 12,000 entering to less than 200. The difference is none of the 200 made it into this country. So, it's incredible the turnaround that the Border Patrol did under the leadership of President Trump. These men and women of Patriots, they went for 4 years of hell, quitting, retiring, not wanting to go to work. They felt like Uber drivers and tours, could have just processing people, putting them on an airplane at taxpayer expenses, city of their choice, putting them in a free hotel room, getting free meals a day. I mean, the Border Patrol was miserable. Now the morale's at an all-time high. Recruiting is breaking every record out there. They're doing a great job for America. I love each and every one of them.
And they love you, and I love you, Tom. It's a big honor every time you come on. I hope you know that it's not a small thing for me. It's a big, big deal. I'm so proud of you, and I'm so proud of the job that you and President Trump have done together in ultimately making our country so much safer, so much safer. So I speak on behalf of all Americans. Tom Homan, you are a great American. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Talk to you later.
See you, Tom. Tom Homan right there on Sid Friends in the morning. And as always, my man he ain't messing around. He's all about business and serious, a very sweet guy. We text each other just so you know, but he's a serious guy, and he wants to make sure we are safe, and he's doing a tremendous job. We'll take a short break. We still have about 40 minutes to go. We'll get back to some Knicks and Spurs.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Here comes the Belmont. Dick, welcome back, buddy. How are you?
I am good, Sid. Yourself?
I can't complain. I'm very excited about the Knicks and Spurs. That's not till Monday. We have a game tonight in Texas, but New York will come out big tomorrow, even though we talk about this all the time. Once my buddy Vinny took Golden Temple out of the Preakness, we had no chance at a Triple Crown winner. We're still looking at probably well over 100,000 people in Saratoga tomorrow, yes?
It'll be a scene in Saratoga for sure, Sid, and they'll bet over $100 million. One of the great stats of this Triple Crown, by the time we're done tomorrow evening, they will bet $500 million on the Kentucky Derby, Preakness, and Belmont Stakes cards.
That's still a big business, I guess. That's still a pretty big business. This will be, the third or fourth consecutive year they're going to run this race in Saratoga. I know the new Belmont track is going to open next year, so how many years is this now?
This is 3 at Saratoga, and this will be the last. The new Belmont Park is going to open on Friday, September 18th, and then the 2027 Belmont Stakes will be next June at the normal distance of 1.5 miles in Long Island and at Belmont Park.
And all the big guns will be there this weekend, right? The Bill Parcells, I guess, Mike Francesa, Rick Pitino. Vinny's going to be there. His horse Golden Temple, who won the Kentucky Derby, has a 23-1 shot. Sat out the Preakness because it was a much shorter race. Going to run, but it looks to me like at this point, and things may change, but I don't think so, that Golden Temple, according to the odds, is favored to come in fourth. Is that right?
Yeah, at the moment he's 13-2, or like basically 6-1. Sit at betonline.ag. Renegade with your man Mike from Queens, right? Mike Rapoli.
Yep.
He's the favorite. So yeah, you got Vinny, you got Mike from Queens, you got New Yorkers all over the place.
Yeah, and these horses, the Renegade and Chief Wallaby and Golden Temple, all these horses fared well back in the Derby in these races, right?
Correct. That's right. Golden Tempo won it. Renegade second. Chief Wallaby fourth. We got Commandment back. It was kind of a troubled seventh city. He won the Florida Derby. We got Emerging Market back from the Derby. He finished 10th, but he won the Louisiana Derby. And who was behind him? Golden Tempo. So yeah, this is really a very, very good race for 3-year-olds.
Awesome. But the horse that won the Preakness is not here?
He is not. Napoleon Solo, the owner, Al Gold, who actually just sold the horse, they're waiting for the Haskell on the North Jersey Shore at Monmouth Park next month.
Okay, because I remember talking to Vinny's trainer, the female, Cherie, first female trainer to ever win the Derby, and she was saying that part of the reason why they didn't run tempo in the Preakness was, like you're talking about with Napoleon Solo, they actually do look forward to, like, the Travers and the Breeders' Cup and all these other races throughout the year. They're not into burning the horse just for the Triple Crown Stakes.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Cherie said. A lot of trainers think like that. Bill Mott with Chief Wallaby's thinking that way. Todd Pletcher with Renegade is thinking exactly the same way. They want to have a horse maybe space out the races every 5-6 weeks. Think about the Travers and, as you said, like the Breeders' Cup Classic, which will be in Lexington, Kentucky this year on Halloween.
So, based upon the betting numbers, again, the great Dick Jerardi, the betting numbers, it seems like horse racing is pretty healthy. Now, I understand that if I go to Monticello, when I go see my mom July 4th, and if I'm Finger Lakes on any afternoon, or even the Meadowlands, that they ain't going to be packed. But it seems like the big races, the sport seems pretty healthy.
The Triple Crown, Sid, and certainly the Derby is as healthy and maybe more healthy than it's ever been. Yeah, when you talk about $500 million being bet on these races, and obviously in Saratoga tomorrow, not only do you have the Belmont Stakes, you got about 5 other stakes with some of the best horses in the country, including journalism, who won last year's Preakness, are running the Met Mile.
Wow.
So it's a sensational racing card, and everybody who likes the sport will be gambling on it tomorrow, including me. And I know you love these prop bets. I got a couple of prop bets for you from Bet Online.
Love it.
Here you go. Winning jockey in the Belmont's name ending in Z. Yes is 5-8, meaning bet $8 to win 5. No is 6-5. We get Renegade with Irad Ortiz. We get Golden Tempo with Jose Ortiz, Commandment with John Velasquez, and Power Shift with Luis Saez. So you get 4 out of the 9 ending in Z. Any of those jockeys wins it.
I like that.
Cash.
And that Ortiz brother combination finished first and second in the Kentucky Derby.
They did. Golden Tempo with Jose and Renegade with Irad, and obviously they'll both be back. And I got another one for you. Todd Pletcher, who trains Renegade, also trains Power Shift, who I think has a decent chance. Renegade's like 2-1. Either of the Pletcher horses win, you get 7-5.
Wow.
Bet Online. So I think that's got possibilities as well.
I like that too. Pletcher, one of the old-time greats. BetOnline.ag. That's where you got to bet these races. And I do like the prop bets. They're fun, and they're actually more fun in horse racing than they are in some of the conventional sports. So those are two great ones from our guy Dick Jerardi. Okay, so now let's break down the actual winners, win, play, show, trifecta, quinella, whatever you want to bet. Give me the 3 horses you expect to finish 1, 2, 3 in tomorrow's race.
Yeah, in this order, I like Power Shift and an upset. The other Pletcher horse, I think City's got the right style for this race. I think his chance he's loose on the lead out there. Commandment, I think, is going to be undervalued. And I can't say a bad word about Renegade. I'm skipping Golden Tempo. I feel a little bad because I'm a Cherie DeVoe fan, but I just think this is a way different race than the Derby, and the circumstances aren't going to be as possible as potentially good for Golden Tempo.
All right, so you like the 2, the 7, and the 4.
2, 7, 4, exactly that order. That's it.
Dick, you've been amazing throughout this whole series. I got to be honest, I've enjoyed you so much. Maybe you'll come back for the Travers and the Peters and all that stuff. What do you think?
Anytime, my man. Love to do it.
All right, tell Shapiro to make sure he contacts us because I'm having fun with this, and you really are great. So enjoy the race tomorrow. We'll talk again for the next big race. How about that?
You got it. Thanks so much, Sid.
All right, Dick. God bless you. Dick Jerardi right there. That's going to wrap up our week of shows here on Sid and Friends in the Morning. We hope you enjoyed it. Lou Ruffino, as always, a spectacular job. Thank you, Lou. Inshallah, yes. Justin Ellick. Amazing as always. Noam, you just keep getting better. I don't know, but you're great. Noam Layden, tremendous job. And yes, as Gene would say, which Mamdani did say, Gene says it in English, God willing, but Mamdani says, Inshallah.
Thanks for listening to Sid and Friends in the Morning. You can hear Sid and Friends in the Morning weekday mornings at 6. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Roger Stone here. Your dollars are losing ground, but gold isn't. American Sovereign Bullion helps you protect your wealth through real, tangible assets. Through their nationwide wholesaler network, you get some of the best pricing on gold and silver delivered straight to your door. Since 1912, the U.S. dollar has lost 97% of its purchasing power. Meanwhile, gold continues to prove its strength. So call 844-272-2428. That's 844-272-2428. Or visit dyingdollar.com to request your free gold and silver guide. That's dyingdollar.com.